Okay. I have nothing to confirm that my desktop sound works, but I guess we will work with it. Hey, Bancho. I see you're an early bird. Drawbacks of me starting a bit earlier are probably that people are not used to that. So it's weird, but here we are. I am live though. Okay, Twitch, don't trip me. Yeah. Oh my god. Hey, my bear. Ah. So here we are. I wonder if you can see the screen. How well is it on stream proportion-wise? Because I could zoom in a little bit, I guess. Hey. Won't be able to stick around for the stream since I haven't gotten this far in the manga yet, but enjoy. Oh, okay, Patch. Thank you so much for dropping by and for the BT though, and for the sentiment. All right, then here we are, and I guess we get started. I have never read manga on stream before, so this is a little bit awkward, but yeah. I hope one day this will be adapted into the anime along with the answer arcs. Check my DM. Just a sec. Yep. Oh, you made me a road. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. I don't really know what all those things are, but appreciate it, Bam. All right. Do voice acting for every character? No. I am doing that. Although you are absolutely right, I'm gonna have to read all of the dialogue. I no longer have the crutch of the voice acting. But okay, let's go. Let's see how it is. Right. So, Confession of the Golden Witch, Part 1. What do we have in store? Some ads, sorry about that. Voice acting or no balls? If I have but one wish, let this message bottle never be seen by anyone's eyes. Ooh. Confession of the Golden Witch on the page. If you by any chance should read this, please deal me my just punishment. Oh. This island is cursed. An island where countless souls and corpses went without salvation, and where sins cross and combine. I guess it's right and left. So Rokkenjima, the island of the witch. And fitting to that witch's name, my life had as well been cursed. If we're reading this, we have to punish Bear? Why would we punish Bear? We cherish Bear. What do you mean? Because of what's said here? No. We draw the line between the character and the person in our chat. Okay. I was raised in an orphanage, and since I was a small child, I had worked as a servant in the house of Ushiromiya. There were a great number of fellow servants who came with me from the orphanage, but I was exceptionally young. Tiny. I was often bullied because of that. There was nothing to be done. The age gap between them and me was far too great. I had no chance of becoming friends with them, and I honestly didn't even want to. That is why, apologies for the ads, wow, I didn't realize they were there. I had scrolled through the page and I didn't realize they were there. Anyway. But to be fair, I only scrolled in the beginning a few pages because I didn't want to get spoiled. The witch Beatrice, blonde hair, moves things around on a whim. A red dress as if stained by blood. Beato's friend. Yeah. That is a very nice one. Yeah, good comeback. um, but I notice now here the witch Betty is crossed, and here it's written again. I see. Right. So, a red dress as if stained by blood. Berto's friend. I made an effort of associating with illusionary friends. A high white witch gets burned when she touches spiderwebs. Okay. If I turned my thoughts towards them, they would immediately appear next to me. They would make a loud spectacle around me. At times, they would get me into troubles, but they would also console me. They were irreplaceable friends. Yeah, I know. With the butterflies and everything, the curls, and the little bows. So even in lonely nights, I wouldn't feel scared or alone. Barune? I don't know how to read that. I think with this, I can finally make you take work seriously. I took one key off my chain and threw that key into Barune's locker. Later, I took the key bundle she left lying around and replaced it with mine. Maybe I overdid it a little? Ah, we're back to that scene. Got it. What are you talking about? That was me taking over your body for the sake of teaching her to respect higher powers. After that, she will learn to respect us. Okay. How do I read this? Do I read this one first and then this confuses me. No, I think this is the last one, so I read this first. Yes, it's Baruna's fault for not being diligent enough. Because of her behavior, the witch decided to teach her a little lesson. That's all. My, are you still up at this time? This is Kumasawa. The left side is I always get confused because this is on the same like visual line with the rest of the bubbles, but this is vertically taking up more space, and yeah. Tomorrow is an early day. You have to get some sleep. Kumasawa-san, Kumasawa-san, thank you for helping me. You know, the master's vase. Ah, we're at the vase topic. Ah, no. I told you it was a kitty cat that did it, right? Oh, cute! Cute is this panel. Kumasawa-san, who has served the house a long time. Genji-san, who is the head of us servants. And the master's friend, Dr. Nanjo, who occasionally comes to visit. For some reason, I can't see why they treat me so well. Maybe that's what the translation meant to say. There were days when I received a good scolding, but they were always there for me. Especially Genji-san, who always speaks so strictly about the servant having to cast his heart in iron, and Kumasawa, who so often meddles in other people's affairs. That's such a brilliant description of them. Like, oh my god. Yeah, they were like parents to someone like me without a single relative in the world. Aww. Are you listening? I have decided upon my dream. I want a family. I want to marry the boy I love one day, and then get children. All to create a real family. My, that is a really cute little dream fit for a human. As a witch, I can't really see it. And soon after, I fell in love. Aww. Cute. Look at his vest with like the eagle here, and aww. How cute. Oh, how have you been? Unlike that brute Jessica, you really get cuter every time I meet you, Shannon-chan. Have you read any new detective novels? This is the one that I found especially... Sorry, this is one that I found especially entertaining. Thank you very much. I recently read all of Agatha Christie's, so all of it. Wow, you say it like it's nothing. Batora, tiny Batora, especially. The son of one of the branch families of the Shiромiyas, he always made a good impression. He was a little rough on the edges, but never fake. For somebody like him to have the same hobby as me, and for him to spend so much of his time on the island during the family conference with me. Oh, and I guess this is Battler saying, believe me, that trick will surprise you about the book. To me, who had no other friends my age, it wasn't that weird to lose my head over a boy like that. With him around, I was able to forget the hardships of my everyday life. So I started daydreaming about spending more time at his side. Oh, yeah, they're both super cute. And I began to think that there was also a little favor directed at me as well. What I'm into? It might surprise you, but I'm not into the homely type. I like something rougher. Of course you do, Battler. Even someone like Jessica, somebody to bash my heads in with would be nice. And it would be awesome if she was blonde and had big boobies. Yay. Oh my god, what? Oh, I didn't need to know this part. Blonde and big boobies. Okay, Butler, okay. We went from cute to classic Battler, and now back to cute over here. If you ever do quit your position as a servant, then you can come to my place. If that day comes, I will come for you on a white horse. No, what Weberum? Does that mean that you become my prince on a white horse? That you will come and carry me off this island? No. What would it be wonderful to be able to live with you? I want to be your bride. If I am with you, my dream will definitely come true. That is a fancy dress. And while I give my best to become the ideal woman you dream about, I will keep on waiting for you until you come to take me away. Forever. We parted with the promise to meet again 1 year later in the same spot. I have to be more frank, like Milady Jessica. Like this? Butler, have you been? No, I can talk like that. No to Battler finding Rudolph's stash, yeah. So cute. Right. Secret tips to boost your boobs. What? That is in magazines? Oh my god. Relax and pull and make a cleavage. Oh my god. I was waiting to test how much we felt for each other. But no matter how I waited, he did not return. Have you heard that Battler-sama was erased from the family register? Yeah, but with his father fooling around even while Asumu-sama was still alive, I would leave the family too. Well, Rudolph-sama's problem with infidelity goes way back. Wasn't Hamachi also with him one time? Okay then. He will come back. Surely. Next year he will come back. Next year. Yasuda. Sorry, do you have a pad with you? No, sorry, I haven't yet, so... Oh, I see, sorry. Ooh, we're going into puberty situation. Just Rudolph things? Yeah, oh god. The more I think he can surprise me, the wronger I am. While I was waiting for his return, grieving, I was starting to feel unease about my own body as well. My first period, even though everybody else already had theirs. This is painful. Why will my breasts grow, especially when he likes big-breasted girls? Why am I the only one not getting her period? Is there something wrong with my body? Aren't you still in middle school? When it comes to the tides of the moon, some people will only experience it once they have entered high school, you know? You're right. With my magic, you can immediately get giant knockers if you want. They will be plump and voluptuous, like ripe fruits when Battler does return. Oh god. But they also come with a set of problems that a young girl's heart should better go untroubled by. You're right, I think. Yes, just lay your fears to rest. I should do that, right? Beatrice-sama. Aww. Ouch. That characters breaking mirrors in manga and anime is I don't know, it's so frequent that I'm worried because that's a very dangerous thing. I guess here it's serves to pinpoint the heightened emotion. I hate mirrors for showing me how I truly look, because they steal my dreams from me. Is that me? That boyish looking flat chested thing with a worn out face? Tossed away by the one she liked? Has no real friends or family to talk to, just sits in her room, melancholically talking to herself, living by deceiving herself. How shabby is that? Battler, why won't you come back to me? Come and save me. Come and take me away from this island, from this fate. What did this promise really mean to you? Was I the only one getting my hopes up? Please. So there is nothing left to me but living alone and miserable. Yeah. Ay, my heart. I want to die right now. And what if I forgot all of my past and could just live a different life? A different life as a boy. My name is Kanon, and I will be working here from today. I hope we can get along. From that point on, I started to appear as Kanon. If I could somehow find happiness living as a boy, then I could now start letting my life as Shannon fade out of existence, I thought. Of course, this wasn't something that I could just do suddenly, so my life meant alternating between Shannon and Kanon. Kumasawa and Genji played along, but just as a further extension of my game of make-believe. They helped me with secret agreements and managing the shift schedule. It's really something to have a boy as a servant. Shall we spend the break together? Food tastes worse if the company is bad. Oh, savage. Savage. Doesn't talk much, is pretty cold, only insults if he opens his mouth. I'm sure that's what being a boy is like. Yes. He must appear as the complete opposite of Shannon. I only have to keep away from people as much as possible and speak as few as possible. Normally, there are no more than 2 or 3 servants on duty on the island. As long as I have Kumasawa and the others' help, it shouldn't be discovered if I do well. This strategy went better than I expected. I pushed my daily discontent on Kanon, and my mischievous spirit and my feeling for that boy on the witch in me. So I became able to smile freely, as long as I was me. Yeah, very Kanon moment. Oh no, what happened? Oh no. It was hot. Okay. Ah, it's hot. No, hurry. I need ice. Shannon-chan, take off your socks, quick. Oh. Oh, okay. He will yell at me. Master, we will have to borrow the bathroom. Yes. I am sorry that you had to witness this unsightly display. I will quickly prepare a new soup. Genji, you didn't. No, it's alright. Eh? Master, what is this? I asked you if you wanted to take a try at shooting as well. Okay. Kumasawa's ho 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 ho's. I cannot do that. Sorry about it. Isn't that a treat, Shannon-chan? Even Eva-sama and her siblings are not allowed to touch these guns. Don't you want to at least give it a try? Yes. Oh no. There is a real resemblance. Can it be that now a chance for redemption has finally come? The gods are truly fickle. Thinking back, this was probably the most happiness I ever experienced. My friendship with Milady also deepened. Oh, that's cute. Oh, that's so cute. All the girly things. Maria. Oh, Maria's face. What? So cute. I also very easily became friends with Maria-sama. Together we expanded our world and played in it. This is how we wove the fabric of our world. And I found a new love. At first it was a way to finally forget about that boy. So I felt guilty if I had maybe chosen him as a replacement. But the time with him was so gentle. I was so happy for someone like me being treated like a girl. Cute. And more than that, his ideal of family that he told me about one day matched with mine. More and more I got charmed by him. I may be not gifted with big breasts, but even if it takes a while, I can still get children. And so I set out to build my future with George-sama. Even though there was not supposed to be a happy future in store for me. November 29th, 1984. After I got a hint from Genji-san, my passion grabbed me and I decided to challenge the epitaph. I set out to solve it, being sure that a mystery fanatic like myself would be able to do so. Quadrillion, there it is. I went about it completely oblivious to what solving the epitaph truly meant to bring about. And in the end, it was nothing but me prying open the Pandora's box that was my fate. Oof. Yeah. And now this scene, which I cannot voice act. Forgive me, Beatrice. Leon, just once. Call me father, just once. Father. Oh, okay, how do I read this? Let's do the sides first and then I do the dialogue. My true name is Ushiromiya Leon. My father was Ushiromiya Kinzo. My mother was the Beatrice who had been held captive in Kuwadorian. So now we have Kinzo going crazy. I have not a sliver of regret left in my life now. It was a peaceful death. I think I'm supposed to read this whole, right? Meeting you in his final moments, he gained his chance for redemption in the end. He must be satisfied now. You are now the ruler of Rokkenjima, and you possess the right to know all of its secrets. Please ask us anything, whatever it may be. Hey, Red Needle, how are you? You knew all the time that I was the master's child, didn't you? And also that my mother was Beatrice. Wait, what does that mean? I don't understand. Oh, wait, I have something on the side. My mother was actually Kinzo's daughter and also my elder sister. Yeah, that's very. Yeah, yeah, that's where it gets twisted. Yeah, we are at the Bea's request. We are doing 3 manga chapters tonight. What does that mean? I don't understand. Do you want to say the master deeply regretted pushing all the misguided love the deceased Beatrice-sama, all the misguided love for the deceased Beatrice-sama on her? Maybe that's what it meant. And also that he made you shoulder such a gruesome fate by being born out of that. That is why. Wait a second. Wait a second. So I am the youngest child of Shiromiya Kinzo. Krausama and the others are my siblings. The child of the child he had with his lover. So Milady and the others are my cousins, yet also my nieces and nephews. Yeah, it's fantastic. Marrying a blood relative of 3rd degree is illegal. The blood of Ushiromiya Kinzo runs thick in my veins. In other words, I was never supposed to be born. Okay. After your mother died on you. After your mother died on you? That I don't really understand what they meant by that sentence, but okay. After your mother died on you, Kinzo-san planned on introducing you to the main house as an adopted child. Wait a second. My ears won't stop ringing. But Natsuhi, who was suffering from a severe neurosis for not being able to give birth herself at the time, made the servant carrying you go off a cliff by... Man, we're really spelling things out here. Pulling no punches. Please don't tell me any more of this. Nothing good can come from this. But still, you were exceedingly lucky. I myself thought that it was nothing less than a miracle. Right. You suffered a large laceration on your lower abdomen and genital region, but like through a miracle, you survived. Dr. Nanjo really tried everything he could to save you. We were unable to save your dear mother, and for that we wanted at least you to live. Right, and in between we have this why won't I get my period, a flat boyish body. Yeah. Even if it were a body that cannot make children, we wanted you to live and become happy. This page is so lonely. I guess that was the point of it. A lie. It's a lie. This has to be a lie. I am Yasuda Sayo, an orphan. I am not that Leon you talk about. You have the wrong person. It's not me. It can't be me. Leon. No, you are Leon-sama. Can you prove that? Do you have proof that I am Leon? Yes. On your foot is a scar left from the operation to treat your polydactyly. That's what it was. Okay. We were careless in our care, I suppose, and the operation left the scar. Oh, wait, no, sorry. There was even more down here, sorry. That alone is proof that within you flows the very blood of the master. We were careless in our care, I suppose, and the operation left the scar. That is why... No. Why didn't you let me die back then? Yes, pain. I would have never wanted to live in such a body like this that can't even make love. I am not even human. I am a piece of furniture. I want a family. tiny, precious, innocent. Ah, it's a lie that I can't have children. It's a lie that I am a bastard. It's a lie that I'm related to you. It's a lie that I can't become happy with the person I love. Surely, from the very moment I was born, I was never given a chance for a happy life. Yep. So, this was the first one. Imagine how Shannon felt every time George talked about his dream of being surrounded by his children and grandchildren. Yeah. Yeah, I've imagined that already a few times. Okay. We move to part 2 of the pain. Right. We have Sayo mode and Beatrice mode, flipping between them. It's very interesting. A human seen as a witch will never gain happiness. Didn't you even know that? Furniture. Your tears are an aperitif to me. This pain of love is the most delicate hors d'oeuvre. Aww. Canon. Begone, witch. Don't even come near my sister. Nesan, we are and will be furniture. There cannot be love between people and furniture. You have to tell this to George-sama as well. You must not get any closer to people than you already are. To furniture, there is only one way to properly live as furniture. Kanon-kun, but I am... Work. It's time to work. What does it say? One is the resurrection of all the souls of the dead. One is the resurrection of even the love once lost. Okay. Put the witch to eternal rest. Nothing like that happens. Now it's just about returning the mechanism to its original shape so that the gold stays hidden. So you get your 4 treasures, right? What a joke. I lost everything in exchange for that gold. Hmm? It's okay, Moth-chan, you're here now. All good. I spent my days like before, without ever any change. The fact that I solved the epitaph and succeeded the headship, even the circumstances of my own birth, I told to nobody. Even Genji-san and the others ordered me around in the same harsh tone as before. I was afraid of laying it out in the open. If I spoke it out loud, it would come rushing in with so much more actuality. How miserable I am. The feeling of guilt for not revealing it to the person I held fond feelings for clung onto me all the time. No matter how much gold there was, there were no means for me to be saved from my cursed fate. The only thing left was to push it all deeper and deeper into my heart. The death of the master was as if the witch within me had cast her magic. Through a secret agreement, it all became concealed. Krausama took on exorbitant loans. That is why they had to push the question of the inheritance further away, they said. What an arrogant woman. She talks of protecting honor, but the only thing she cares about is her own appearance. That scum, they were all too ready to deny our honorable head a proper funeral. The days skipped by without change. It's just a reward for Kinzo, who held me prisoner as well. And Natsuhi, she made you fall off that cliff. My world was turned into a negative image of itself on that day. Shannon, isn't the stench coming from G-sama's study lately the worst? Honestly, what is he researching there? Lately, the master is putting all of his efforts into this, and since he has a lot of very bad days, I think it is better if you don't go to his study anymore, milady. I will have to discuss the inspection of the freezer and an increase of preservatives with Genji-san. The inspection of the freezer. Yes, let us propose the acquisition of a new freezer to Madam. Genji-san, in the underground, where did all these skeletons come from? Oh, okay. Honorable head, it feels kind of weird seeing Kanon hold respect for Kinzo. I think maybe, I don't know, at least that's how it struck me upon first read. It was like, in the moment, a jab at Natsuhi, more than any sort of appreciation for Kinzo. So maybe they said it that way just to contrast it even more and have it come down on Natsuhi with an even more intense negative connotation. Yes. That's how I felt when I read it, but maybe I'm wrong. What do I know? Yeah, so the freezer, okay. Genji-san, in the underground, where did all these skeletons come from? Once, Rokkenjima had been a base for the Japanese army. I heard there was a mass killing between the Japanese soldiers and the people who came on the Italian submarine that had also brought the first Beatrice-sama here. The bones, they are all gathered in one room. There they were piled up, cluttered, unorganized. To be fair, I did wonder what happened with them, if they just like, I don't know, became one with the island or something. But I didn't necessarily need an answer to it. I was good. I was good. Those skeletons wearing Italian and Japanese uniforms, all thrown on a heap as if dumped on a garbage pile. Why did the master leave his comrades like this without even a proper burial? Why did he build his mansion on this island as if to hide them all? The master, he killed them all, didn't he? To monopolize Beatrice-sama and the gold. Maybe he carried them here after killing them, or... In this body flows this dirty blood. Ai, Shannon. It was at that point when... Tell me already, what is there between you and George Nissan? Between... You seem to hit it off quite well the last time he was on the island. Are you two going steady? Did you go on a date? No, going steady would be... Swirly eyes. So cute. He just helped me with some shopping and it wasn't really a date. Shut up, it was a date, I tell you. And now you keep saying you're not going steady? He's your boyfriend and you're his girlfriend. I don't know about being a girlfriend. Really? So you didn't try to get ahead first? We promised we would get boyfriends at the same time. Milady. Ah, Jessica. Hey, Shannon. Yes? Among the servants, there's this boy called Kanon. Am I right? Are you close? Kanon, does he have a girlfriend or something? The shock. The shock on the face. Ay. I was getting dizzy. Milady, have you ever talked to Kanon? Or Joy for being approached with such favor? Just a little bit, but he doesn't seem like he wants to talk to me. For Kanon, who was this lump of all the ugliness inside of me, for him, who was the opportunity for a life as a boy, for him to have somebody approach him with such favor. He always seems so lonely, looking into the distance, so I wondered. Ah, when I say I wondered, I don't mean liking him. But, if I speak to him more, maybe I can cheer him up a little. Oh. It felt almost as if he had been allowed to live. At the same time, I was shuddering in disgust. Towards the genes of Ushiromiya, deep, deep within myself. I do not think that Kanonken has a girlfriend. Really? Excited Jessica. Well, no. He always keeps himself shut off, but I think he would feel joy at being talked to by Milady. Towards the blood of Ginzo flowing within me, feeling joy because of this favor. The only people who make me feel needed are my blood relatives. The only thing changing on were the days and months while I kept silent. Changing on, right? Okay, I didn't read that wrong. And the feelings of those two only deepened more. Aww. This image though. Kanon's clothes on the rack. I mean, yeah. Where would she go? This is her livelihood. Listen to this if you feel down. It's a mixtape with my recommendations. Listen to it if you like. Oh, mixtapes! Oh my god! So cute! I get to know so many new emotions just by being with you. You make a gentle wind breeze through my heart. Shannon, I'm so happy to have met you. For someone like me who is living by denying themselves. Oh, thank you for being born. Oh, my heart. The raw feeling of being loved, or it being alright to live, was more bliss than I ever knew. Will anybody be able to understand that? She's rich now, go to Hawaii. Haven't we already concluded that that mountain of gold is kind of worthless because you can't exchange it for actually usable money? Or can't exchange it very easily? Well, I wasn't planning to make you cry, oh George. And that was what swayed my resolve of having to bear the truth to them. Ooh, what does that mean? Not the whole mountain. That's what I was saying. As far as I understood, even that that little bit that they managed to exchange was complicated. But okay. Oh, this is the aquarium date. Okay, very cute. That is why I felt a little relieved when he was talking about staying a night on our trip. I was so sure that on an occasion like this, even a weakling like me would be able to overcome her fear. I cast all my wishes on this sliver of hope that if George-sama truly loved me, he would accept me even if he learned the truth. But my resolve was in vain. That chance did not come about. What? Separate rooms, milady? And George-sama suddenly brought up talks of getting engaged. What should I do? I can't trick him any longer. I have to tell George-sama the truth as fast as possible. George-sama would surely be able to accept me. Aren't those sweet words? Furniture. Oh lord, this is creepy. This is creepy. Love means lust and can only be measured by two bodies lying together. George will despair as soon as he knows about your birth and your body. Why are you pretending to be right for George when you can't even fulfill his dream? You are sinful just for imagining yourself and him together. A good life surrounded by all our children and grandchildren. I want a future like that with you. Sad. But George-sama, he is sincere. Our love, it will not be destroyed by something like that. This is making me crazy. I don't. Quit jabbering that nonsense. It is because George is sincere. It will put out all his love for someone like you who kept lying to him, exploiting him with fruitless love. There are countless replacements for you. There is no need for him to choose you. But I wanted to be loved by somebody, and I wanted to love somebody. It just accidentally happened to be George-sama. Is it a sin to even consider going through with my love for George-sama? So you want to be with the son of your siblings? I have to congratulate you for following the same path as Shinzo, while also hating his deed the most. What will you do then? Will you be with George, hiding the knowledge that the future will only hold despair in store? Nobody would ever allow for a person who doesn't even know their lineage to become the spouse of the heir of a company. Of course, if your lineage became known, then you might just have to force George into a life in the shadows with you. And somebody without even a complete soul doesn't have the right for loving George anyway. Because I love Milady. It was so painful having to refuse her on that day. Ah, wait, this was in between, so Sayo's reacting to Kanon. Sayo, Shannon, I don't know which names to use. You understand what I mean. Right, so it was so painful having to refuse her on that day. It was so painful having to hurt Milady like that. It was especially harsh because it was like denying myself because I do like her. So Jessica was saying, Kanon-kun, please tell me your real name. Right. Milady shines like the sun, and she makes even someone like me shine. When I am with her, I feel like I don't have to keep living like this anymore. Milady Jessica is not a replacement for George-sama. Ah, sorry. There was still something at the bottom. Nesan, you know that even if you get refused by George-sama, there will still be Lady Jessica, right? Lady Jessica is not a replacement for George-sama because I want to have love. Jessica, that carefree girl who doesn't even know the true form of this family. Then why don't you step forth and reveal yourself, Golden Witch? With your gold, all the problems of the household should be solved in no time. My, it is not that easy of a story. If I reveal my existence to them, those greedy hounds will show their true colors and start to fight. And the only thing remaining for you and Shannon will be ruin. Stop. Stop it already. It was the cursed blood of the Ushiromiya that drove you to this point. And you are nothing but that. Whatever you may choose, there is no running from the pain. Right. Choosing. Whatever I choose, this pain clings to me. I have been driven to the far end of the wall. I have to decide until the day when George-sama will give me that ring during the family conference. And that day will mark the border when my life will truly change without fail. I have to tell George-sama everything. George-sama will surely accept me. And then I will leave the island and cast away the me that is Kanon and the me that is Beto. I will live as Sayo, the life that I am longing for as Sayo. But I will not be able to give Jor-sama the bliss of being surrounded by people. Still, my wish isn't great, so... If we share true love, then we can surely be happy. This is creepy. Don't come any closer. You make me want to puke. You've been deceiving me all this time, haven't you? This is happening inside her mind. Did you think somebody like you could honestly marry me? You are disgusting. Don't ever show up in front of me again. Ah, a nightmare. Okay, there it is. Having never experienced being accepted for who I truly am, it was exceedingly difficult to imagine and believe in a happy future. No, George-sama isn't like that. He isn't like that. If I could just go eternally without telling him the truth, then I could be happy with him eternally. Yet, George-sama, you will accept me, right? I will believe in you, so please. While being haunted by nightmares, that day kept closing in day by day. That's all for the fine details, so from here on, I guess that's Nasuhi giving them instructions. Shannon, are you even listening? I'm sorry, madam. I gave you the task to clean the hall. The family conference is soon, so keep yourselves together. I already told you all, but for the first time in 6 years, Battler-kun will be attending again at this family conference. It's so bad to relate being afraid of people close to you when you hide your identity. Such awful feeling. Yeah. Let us prepare with all our powers so that no embarrassments occur on that day. Yeah, I guess pretty much. In all fairness, Battler had a lot of his own stuff to deal with, so yeah. Is it true that Battler-san is coming back? Oh, tiny. Battler-san is coming home. He's coming home. Ah, so this is the tiny one. Oh, the tiny one within. That's so cute. Oh, and heartbreaking at the same time. I don't know what I'm feeling anymore. Small, yes. He really didn't forget his promise. He's coming to take me with him. He finally appeared during my time of greatest hardship and will save me from this hell-cold fate. This time I will finally become Battler-san's bride. I love Battler-san the most. The most, or more than everyone else in the world. Please go away. I thought I had separated myself from you, my emotion of first love. There is no way that Battler-san is coming to take me with him now. Somebody who didn't even manage to send a letter. He probably doesn't even remember a childish promise like that. You doubt our beloved Battler-san? My current self is only thinking of Church-sama. Liar. I can hear us howling in pain. Okay, this is creepy. Very, very much. Let's stop being strong. Aren't you the one who feels the most joy for having expected Battler's return home more than anyone else? It comes just right. Why not make it an insurance for when George has broken up with you? Or why not change to Battler right now? Ah, that's right. No matter who you choose, you have that filthy body that doesn't allow you to connect with anyone. I have been a squirming, stupid spider caught in its own web. Beatrice bringing back Sayosel from 6 years ago is so insane. I think so far it's doing a really a crazy good, sometimes too good, so good that it hurts job at portraying the whole internal ping pong between all of these sides of their person and their feelings, experiences, memories. It's interesting. Yeah. I was just running around confused, trying to escape my fate. But I keep stumbling all too soon and end up crying again and again. And I guess we have some memories in the background, some memory panels. I will come for you on a white horse. I want a family. Why is he not coming back? Even you will probably find a partner that is just right for somebody like you. I cursed fate. I cursed the world. And then we have some more. I just want to say one thing, Beatrice. Forgive me. That's Kinzo. Your mother, she was... But it left a huge scar on your abdomen. Please tell me your real name. Oy. It was at a time when I was tied hand and foot to an inescapable fate that kept choking me, when I noticed that I had spun that thread by my own devices. Maybe if I had stood up and chosen a life for myself a bit faster, without desperately running from fate, things might have ended without this day ever occurring. Right, so in the background we have a date with George at the aquarium. We have Maria saying, Beto, will you take me to the Golden Land, right? There, Mama and me and Saktaro and everyone will be happy. Ay, pain. Then there's Natsuhi announcing that after 6 years, Battler-kun is attending again. And then some memories of Battler and George and Jessica. And the spider web. The spider caught in its own web. Ay. But by now, I had not even the power left to put up an honest struggle. I don't want this anymore. Make it stop. I don't want to live in a body like this. I want to be happy. Oof. If I could just make it all never happen, I guess. Somehow, if I could just be smiling with the people I love, in a world without ties or bonds, somehow. But I can't, because I have this body. I can't go anywhere. I can't become happy. If I was only freed from this lump of flesh tied down by obligation, and could be connected to all of them by our soul. But it is so easy, for I am now Beatrice the Witch of Rokkenjima. I will return this island. Ooh, wait, no open flames, explosive storage. Okay, so okay. I will return this island to the Golden Land. Oof. Okay. Oh my god. Alright. I have that power. You planned to commit suicide with this whole island in a case of emergency, didn't you? Now, to see if it can still be used, right? So the shrine was a test. Okay. I will carry it all out on the day of the family conference. Pain. All right. That was it, right? Yeah, that's the translation card. Yeah. This is pretty and sad at the same time. I shall return Rokenjima and the whole household of Ushiromiya to the Golden Land. For that is the curse of Beatrice the Witch of Gold, who enthralls this household. Dr. Nanjo, Kumasawa-san, I have a favor to ask of you as the family head. I want you to do exactly as I say during the family conference this year. I will give you as many ingots as you want for it. We will do whatever is in our powers when it comes to you. We don't need any money for that. We want to repay the compassion you had for us with any chance of making you happy. A murder mystery game? Of course we will play along. Genji-san, you are my most loyal furniture, are you not? Yes. You will grant me whatever I order you to do, right? As family head, I can do with this island and the household as I please, right? Yes. Even if I were to say I wanted to commit suicide together with this whole household. And then a flashback to I would never have wanted to live in this body that can't even love. Yes, for I too am to blame for driving you into this corner, my mistress. I shall serve you until the very end. Thank you. Rule X. The accomplice is different every time. The adults are all in financial trouble. It is easy to bribe them. Rule Y. Lies agreed on by everyone can be depicted as actually happening. In a locked room situation, anything goes. People who observe the golden butterflies are either accomplices or dead. Those who were not bribed can only see the golden butterflies in the time space of 30 minutes before their death. Okay. From that point onwards, I began to write down plans for a crime as if I had gone mad. To question which future might be the best and what circumstances might satisfy me, I wrote these tales of endless October 4th to 5th, embellished with this illusion of magic. To me, being used to playing around with delusions, this was no mere plan for a crime, but also the idea of parallel worlds on this day of the crime. As if my soul was released from my body and I was able to experience all of these worlds. And then a lot of dies. Die. I started to find a sinister delight in the act of endlessly killing all of the family. Ushiromiya Kinzo, with his accursed blood and all his sins, he is the root of all the chain of misfortune. To think that you should have the right to rest in peace. Shouldn't it satisfy you to serve a role for Beatrice even in death? Oh man, this is such a creepy image. Right, so I guess I go back here. All of those who continued the chain of misfortune Kinzo began should die as well. Kraus is connected to his siblings by a chain of hatred and violence, and Natsuhi, who derailed my destiny. Eva and Hideyoshi, who stands in the way of my and George-san's future. Rudolph and Kirie, who gave reason for Battler-san not to return. And Rosa, who abused Maria-sama. Genji, Kumasawa, and Nanjo, who indirectly created the situation by serving as accomplices to Kinzo. And Goda, who tried to get personal gain out of striking a deal with Natsuhi. All of them. All of them. She's making wholesome fanfic of her family, and that's one way to describe it. It would be better for all people connected to the house of Ushiromiya to cease existing. From the start, I knew that it would only be a matter of time until they who had made a living by tracking and oppressing others would go bankrupt. I guess there's like some notes here about the people. Goda, fraudulent business, intervene into the child protection state systems. Okay. Wait, this is interesting. Members of a welfare institution seem to have proposed to put Maria into a shelter system. Interesting. Yeah, Goda fired from his previous position at whatever hotel because of a sexual affair. Okay. Too bad, Goda. Has been bought out by the majority. Kraus conceals his use of Kinzo's fortune in Kinzo's death. His real estate investments have all failed. Yeah, so they all have skeletons in their closet, basically. If one family was to make a mistake, then all of the past and all the sins of the other people would start to be revealed as well, and in the end, they would all fall into ruin. Even if they were to overcome the family conference of 1986, there would be no happy future in store for them. That is the destiny, the karmic justice, for this household born from Kinzo's sins and cursed gold. Because no leaves and branches will prosper from such rotten roots. So come and die together with me. God. Rosa paid money to keep Maria instead of losing her to CPS. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that means to intervene into the child protection state system. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know how those things work. Then nobody will have to suffer anymore. The scenario is a ritual murder committed by a witch. The plan behind the scenes was my family's suicide. With the gold ingots and the cash card that was charged with money from converting some of the gold and the fitting key code, I would try to win the adults over to my side. Kraus and Natsuhi have many weaknesses. It should be easy to turn them into my pawns. Still, it would be better to hide my true identity when showing them the gold and threaten them with unveiling their conspiracy to hide Kinzo's death, their embezzlement, or threaten to kill Jessica. But Natsuhi is not very intelligent and she is fast to anger, so there is probably not much merit to making her an accomplice. There will be more gain in just watching her in terror, not knowing what is happening. For Eva and Hideyoshi, it would probably be just as worthwhile to use George as my trump card. Battler's sin is that he has too much riz. Yeah, that's one facet of it, I guess. Eva's actions are simple to predict. She is soft towards her next of kin, but quick to leave those outside of her immediate family behind. She would be the perfect pawn in my game. If I can bribe Rudolph and Kiria alongside Eva, I could probably employ them as acting murderers. A clear downside is that Kiria is fast to doubt people. If I am unable to make them into my pawns early, I should dispose of them as fast as possible. I doubt whether Rosa would be open to discussion based on Maria's life, but she should be open to the promise of gold. A petty villain like Goda should be easily bribed and made into a valuable member involved in the secret agreement. The one with the most value as a pawn is Maria. Adoring the witch, she would do whatever I tell her, and there lies a taste of truth in the words of a true believer like her. She would surely take the role of confusing the people on the scene, as well as thickening the presence of the witch. Yes, Maria is my most precious accomplice, who I promised to take to the Golden Land. Are those pills going into a drink? I would never allow for her body to be disgraced. She must rest in peace. I see. Maybe you already know this, but the bank pin code is Battler's birthday. Plus the day Sayo solved the epitaph. Beatrice is born for real. Oh, okay. Interesting. Yeah, I can see the November date. Yeah, interesting. Right. Yeah, I read all about Maria. Since Genji Kumasawa and Nanjo feel indebted to me, they are loyal and will become my eyes and ears. Especially Nanjo, since he can give false statements upon states of death. Due to their long service, they are trusted by the family, so having all three of them as accomplices is a huge advantage. He will also be able to provide me with the necessary drugs and poisons for a crime. It might be a mystery staple to have the physician as an accomplice, but it can be very rewarding to follow old customs. Those who were bribed under the pretense of it is going to be fake murders will surely lose their composure when being confronted with actual corpses. Oh my god, those are the visuals. I did not need them. I very much preferred the black screen of the VN with text on top. I was fine with that. Yeah. I'd better play dumb and tell them I prepared dummies with all the money, or somebody else is going around actually killing all those people. And if that doesn't work, I will have to dispose of them. Guns exist in abundance. If I hide them in several convenient places in the mansion, I don't even have to carry them around all the time. While also hiding the bullet wounds with Kinzo's collection of stakes and sawed-off rifles, it should also be quite a bizarre setup for the corpses. By switching the breaker, I can easily pretend the phones were disabled. The means of communication and electric system are all under my control. It is all in the palm of my hand, the hand of the witch and the family head. I have power over life and death of every being on this island. With the magic called gold, their very thoughts will do as I command. I am spinning this world from 16 pieces, again and again and again. As long as I have my magic, I can spin countless worlds within the world of October 4th and 5th. I see. This endless if, it gives birth to endless fragments in this cat box called October 4th and 5th. These are all parallel worlds floating within the cat box, and I am there to watch in on them. It's like a kaleidoscope. What pocket will the roulette hit next? Who will be the accomplice? Who will be the victim? What fragment shall I peek at? What fragment shall I spin? Oh wait, there was more on the bottom. But wait, was I supposed to? Oh god, I got confused. I'm so sorry. I'll just read it like this. I do not have to abandon my plan. At times I follow it, at other times I play around. I just have to go about it at random. If I end up getting cornered, then I might just kill anybody right then and there. Because I have abandoned making any choices, so no matter what development or what result there is, I will surely be satisfied. Right, and so then there was this, what pocket will the roulette hit next? Who will be the accomplice? Who will be the victim? And soon another new fragment will be spun. What fragment should I pick at? What fragment should I spin? Or was this like, should have been read at the... I don't understand. I'm so sorry. Sometimes I get lost in the structure of these panels. This is wonderful. My magic is unfathomable. Now I have finally become a true witch. Okay. This is a level of overhead view that humans cannot reach. I think the ones that make me the saddest are just Maria. Cute tiny Maria. Just being innocent and playful. And is this Maria and Battler? Battler holding Maria on his shoulders. Oh my god. Yeah. And heartbreaking. Very heartbreaking. This is my domain. Yes, this is the... You are calling yourself a witch, aren't you? Yes, I am already a witch. But to prove that I have truly surpassed the domain of humans, I intend to be observed and acknowledged by a being even higher than myself. If you should be that, then please make me a witch. And if I say no, then I will make you acknowledge me, because I am already a witch without being acknowledged by anybody. To tread from the physical realm of humans over the threshold into the realm between the fragments is a feat that only us witches can pull off. And even higher than us, those are the ones freed from all constraints, rulers of all things in creation, the gods. You humans are not but splinters, tossed around by the destiny that we give rise to. And you little wood chips say that you want to be on one level with me. Since this child swore to me to become a god, you are the first to raise my interest. I am truly intrigued by you and by your magic system. While you are not but human flesh, by bringing your spirit on my plane of existence, you created a proper domain. This cat box of yours holds perfect and endless possibilities. How far will you be able to ease my boredom, I wonder? Oh. Very well. In the name of the Witch of Certainty Lambda Delta, I acknowledge you as a witch. I see. As long as your certain magic world keeps being certain, that is, I will forever continue to be your guardian. This endless tragedy of October 4th and 5th, I shall spin it until I am satisfied. The time limit is midnight on October 5th. 500 ton, I think that's what it is, of explosives will blow the silent away. Until that moment, well, I don't know what it meant until that moment. But okay. Well then, try and stop me. Until then, try and stop me. Okay, it was a continuation of this. Okay. The parents will definitely gather in one place and discuss family matters until deep in the night on the 4th. Murder will be so simple. Their bodies will be hauled to the storage shed that has been painted with a magic circle beforehand, and to hide the bullet holes I will use the sawed-off shotgun to blow off their faces. Great, fantastic. If I put poison into the drinks they toast with, I can bring it to a fast end. If I make the first twilight as horrible and occult as possible, and play it off like an impossible crime, his interest should definitely be piqued, and he will feel like taking on the riddle. If I kill either Shannon or Canon early on, then moving around after that will become so much easier. But on the other hand, it might also become very enjoyable to present myself as the actual living Beatrice. With the two sets of keys I carry, that of Shannon and Canon, if done right, I can also pull off some locked room tricks. Yes, there was one idea for a locked room that I have real confidence in. A chain locked room that seals in the corpses and keys in a consecutive link. First, starting with room 2 and going around, I seal in a corpse and the key of the room before by locking them in. In 1, there is only the key for 6 and the door is left unlocked. Finally, I enter room 6, lock the door with the inside lock and pretend to be dead. The important point is that 1 has to be at a place as far away and as difficult to find as possible. 6, on the other hand, must be very easy to spot. It must be a room that has a window or something, which allows the locked room to be easily destroyed from the outside. Yeah. The people discovering 6 will easily break the window pane and enter the locked room, finding the key. And enter the locked room, finding the key to 5 inside, um, and being led in reverse order around the rooms. I think that's. In the meantime, I will sneak out through the broken window and enter 1, lock the room from the inside, and again pretend to be dead. Nanjo's help is essential in this, but there is a very high gain to it. Of course, there is also the method of locking the door from the inside and then committing suicide to create a locked room. You tie the gun to a string of wire, and the blast from the shot will catapult it back behind a piece of furniture to hide it. I read that in one of those many mystery novels I was about to say. I would just have to place a stake beforehand. Then the illusion of the witch would prevail beyond my death, wouldn't it? Otherwise, I could attach a misleading tag to the wrong key and place it in a room. Even if I was to lock the room from lock, I guess it meant to lock the room from the outside, then the illusion of a locked room wouldn't be broken, since nobody except the servants would be able to discern a true key of this mansion from a fake one in the first place. Of those many tricks I know, which one should I put to the test? But even if I don't go through the huge trouble of preparation, I still have my golden magic of the secret agreements. As long as I have my magic, any locked room trick, any trick of vanishing corpses, any impossible crime is at my free disposal, just by pinning the crime on somebody else. What to do next? A Royal Road mystery? A really bizarre horror story? How will the pieces move when I point my finger? Sometimes I might even carry out the murders without any accomplices, or rather make everyone into accomplices of the fake murder game. I should test whether they truly fulfill my expectations. Yeah, from the 3 items listed below, choose one as a sacrifice to gain the other 2. Your own life, blank's life, everybody else's lives. If you choose nothing, then you lose all of the above. Thank you, my beloved people. Thank you for loving me. You will be with me forever, even as souls after we die. You too would gladly sacrifice yourself to my desire, right? Is this really right? Something so horrible. Really? To make those I love take part unwillingly, to make the families of the ones I love take part unwillingly. Can I be satisfied with that? Is this really the right thing? No, this can never be right. I want the people I love so much to live. Oh. Battler is just like a sketch in the background. That's so sad. But he's still there. Because I really want to live happily, if it can be granted somehow. What is this? After all you have done, do you really think that you could still lead a happy life? I guess this is in continuation of that. It's the witchy type of saying furniture with like a long U and yeah. A lot of condescension in it. I see. Yes, it is not yet decided, yet I can think of nothing else. So, That is why there must be someone else to stop me. Rule said, please, somebody stop me. Kinzo said solving the epitaph equals a miracle. So if I were to entrust it to a bet on the magic of miracles, the one to solve the epitaph would arrive at this room, switch off the bomb, and survive. I want to gamble with this chance as well. If by any chance my beloved someone would solve the epitaph and through it inherit the headship, I would devote my life to that miracle. I would throw away all my other emotions and would live forever at that person's side. And I would stop the murders and confess all of my sins. Such a result, whatever end it might bring, I could accept it, for this would surely be my punishment. Let me read this again. I would devote all my life to that miracle. I would throw away all my other emotions and would live forever at that person's side. Hint, hint. And would stop the murders and confess all of my sins. Such a result, whatever end it might bring, I could accept it, for this would surely be my punishment. Okay. I am sure you will be able to solve it, right? You will notice that I am the culprit, and then you will stop me, right? October 3rd, okay. Ah, I see. All the message bottles. For a moment I was like, what is in these bottles? And I didn't realize it was supposed to be paper. I get it now. If that might not come true, then at least let us all be happy in the Golden Land. All of these bottle mails are made in a way that if you follow all of the many rules, you will be able to unveil the culprit. That is why each and every one of these bottles contains a confession of my sins. Repentance for my sins that would not exist had I not written them down. Small bombs method X. Yeah, we're getting back there. At least as a small apology, I send the bereaved families a very small golden land of mine. Of course, I know that these would not excuse any of what I did. Once I would have Maria-sama recite the invitation I made her memorize, the curtain on this tragedy would have to rise, I assume. After that, it would all be left to the result of the roulette, on October 5th, when the bell strikes midnight. We will surely all be welcomed to a land where we are freed from all of our suffering. I am the noble witch of Rokkenjima Beatrice, and I shall make the curtain fall on this accursed bloodline and this chain of ill fate. And if by any chance I might be forgiven, please grant me the miracle of smiling with that person when the seagulls cry. I guess that was it. I am perfectly on the dot with the time. It was precisely 1 hour and a half of suffering. Yes. Yeah. It is a great thing when just a plain background and this text can just like push you off a cliff of emotions. So yeah, thank you for coming along and listen to me badly read the manga, which okay. Yeah, sure, I can split that. It's so good. I can also move away from this and be over here. So now we have no issue. Yeah, it is, isn't it? A little bit more color for, after all that black and white. Now I know stuff more explicitly. I guess. I guess so. Yeah. I still think it's Nanjo Triche. I feel like the way the novel was structured, particularly the ending, you are allowed to think whatever you wish, Vibera. It's alright. Now I am free to roam the Umineko internet. Yeah. I'm not gonna jump on the opportunity immediately though. Now you can laugh at people playing in the question arc. No. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would never do that. I still remember myself how I was back then. I was just completely lost. So I couldn't possibly project anything negative to someone going through the pain of that. No, no. I have a question about her writing the message bottles. How did she know NJ would not be on the island, so not to include her in the message bottles? We don't talk about this. I have no idea. It's so funny seeing people being lost in bed or being a troll. I mean, it is funny for you when you know what's all about, but for someone's first experience is in some ways even it's, I don't want to use too strong of a word where it's not needed, but it's shocking, traumatizing to a certain extent. You're like, I don't know. I at some point, like I said, maybe you get a bit desensitized with the murders and since they're repeating and so on. But especially early on in the first episode, it's a lot to take on. So I would never look down on someone struggling through that part of the story. No. I wish to God a secret agreement with Natsuhi was brought to light in the main arc slot. I mean, I can roll with the idea that they all kind of had skeletons in their closet and they were spinning some sort of personal plot, personal agenda to get somewhere or to obtain something from their circumstances. But I don't know. At the end of the day, it feels like also one of the most humanizing part of the characters. Yeah, episode 3 is just it's the epitome of what the fuck. If I met Rikishi, I'll ask him and he'll tell me, how do you think it happened? That is the true answer. I think that that's it, yeah. And those will be his last words. No! What was Battler's skeleton in the closet? Well, Battler blabbed his mouth and then forgot all about it. And hurt a little heart that really cared about him. Small bumps. No. I forgot, yeah. Which becomes, I don't know, an explosion in my head after last night's ending. To forget. Yeah. Then he forgot on a much broader scale, I suppose. So, what do we do? Do you want to be summoned, Bancho? You want to be let free? To speak out your mind? All right, Red Needle, enjoy Honkai. Commence the summoning incantation. Okay. Draw the magic circle. Let me find you. Here you are.
Hello.
Hello. Is it working? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Okay. It's over.
It's over, yes.
Basically,
Mm-hmm.
1 year.
Mm-hmm.
We were probably all of us at different points in life when this started, as always.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, it's the cycle.
Yeah.
Um, did you like it?
Yeah. Yeah. I suffered a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you draw the line and put it all together, I wouldn't miss it for the world. I'm really happy that I did this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What did you think about the manga way of doing things?
Hmm. Um, I thought it was actually cool to have a visual of all of the entities interacting. Um, it gave me a different sensation than anything that I'd experienced through the novel or through my own, I don't know, I guess daydreaming, thinking about how things could be. Um, it definitely went much further into the darker side than my mind has ever gone, either while reading the novel or just imagining things on my own. So that was kind of um, it is weird in the sense of I feel like I empathized and connected a lot with that because I was looking at those panels of bad teacher almost like torturing Sai or something, being very monster like and mean and stuff. And I'm like, that is how I talk to myself when I'm mean to myself.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's very relatable. I thought it was a great way to visually portray that kind of mental struggle.
The illustrations are very good,
Yeah.
especially in these chapters. But yeah, some people don't like the clarity and the directness
Mm-hmm.
of a lot of the stuff that is done, that is shown
Mm-hmm.
in these, specifically these, and not just here, but during the manga's adaptation of episode 7, during the sequence where Will is solving
Mm-hmm.
all of the twilights.
Yeah.
There's also a more explicit explanation of what his answers mean
Mm-hmm.
as well. And yeah, some people don't like that because, of course, it's different, and that's always controversial when something is different. But specifically because they consider that one of the key points of the visual novel is the not showing everything
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is true for the visual novel.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think it makes total sense when you do an adaptation to at least consider making it a different work and not just a copy paste for a different medium. And
Mm-hmm.
in this case, he thought that it was time because it's
Later.
significant, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
or late later enough for him to think, you know what, maybe it's time to be a little more
To put this
explicit. A
out
lot of
into the
people
world
want
as well.
this, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also because, or I don't know how much this factor into this decision, but there were, and there still are somehow, but there were people that refused, for example, specifically this aspect of the Canon and Shannon being characters portrayed by one person,
Oh.
adamantly refuse this, and of course this answers that explicitly, like, no, that is exactly what's going on.
Oh, I see. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but even after this, he was asked, "Okay, but is the manga like true? Is it canon?" And he said, "Yes, this is my answer officially. This is how I see it."
Okay.
But even then, some people, or for whatever reason, and it's fine. But yeah, I think this might have played a role where he wanted to set it straight that no, this is what
Mm-hmm.
I had envisioned. Yeah.
I see.
Um, but what actually matters is the future. This is what we learn in episode 8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that about it.
Yeah. It's my favorite part of it overall. The B plot turns out to be the only thing that matters in the end.
Yeah.
All of the
If you put
episodes
it in.
before are all about the past,
It was all for NJ.
figuring out
Yeah.
what happened. Yeah. But there is a person that is still alive, actually.
Mm.
There is one person that can still do things,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes all the sense to focus on um, how to live after what is one of the worst things that can happen to anyone, which is
Yeah.
losing basically everything.
Yeah.
So how did you like episode 8?
I loved it. I was very confused at times. And Yurikishi's style of chaining things together doesn't help because he puts two scenes one after another and makes you think they're related or they're in sequence or there's something of one of the other evokes into the other, but actually no. He makes you think,
Yeah.
or like in the moment, he makes you suppose or assume that things are connected in a certain way, and then it's like, psych! Actually not.
Yes. All by design to confuse you.
Yes.
What one of the examples of this is after NJ falls and it transitions to someone being
Exactly.
found.
That's exactly what I was
And
thinking of
yeah,
right now. I was just like, wait, what? How is this connected? That can't be it. And the more the scene progressed, like, no, this is something else, but I don't know what it
exactly.
is. I'm so confused. Yeah.
But then they said that they're 18 and she's 18, but you don't know, oh, this is before. Yeah.
Yeah, in the moment, no, but then as the story progresses, or like the snippets about their lives are shown, it's like to me it felt like this doesn't fit to the timeline. This
Yeah.
isn't happening in Enja's time. It can't because it was much later on that the whole ruckus about the mystery of the Rokkenjima came bubbled up again and so on. So it's like no, it doesn't fit. It's like further in the past somewhere. At
Yeah.
least that's how I was thinking
Okay.
in the moment. But I couldn't explain
Um,
anything because it was so weird to be like, how do I connect all of these things with what? And also, I think the biggest issue that I had was like, am I allowed to have hope? Can I hope that this means something not necessarily good, but because I don't know if I can call it a good thing, but just hope
yeah.
for
Well, you
something.
you were, but you also were not because it's not really very happy
Yeah, yeah. I was like,
in true style.
yeah.
um,
Typical Umineko, yes.
okay, on that note of the possible confusion, I want to ask you,
Mm.
we are done. If there's anything you're unclear
Um,
about that you would like to become more clear about.
mm, hmm. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of things sent my way, a lot of things in the Discord, a lot of things that maybe I'll bump into by myself, and that maybe by hearing other people's perspective or some snippets from people who pieced it together better than me, some light bulb will turn on. But I am quite okay with how I am right now. I've been sitting in it for a day only. I haven't looked at anything. Actually, Bear sent a few things my way, but I haven't read them. Just to allow myself to just be with whatever I got out of this. And I'm okay even with the blurry points or the points that I'm not sure how to string together. Um, because I think the bigger ones or the ones that meant more to me, I kind of grasped them already. So I'm
Yeah.
alright. Yeah.
Um, I don't know what she sent you, but I have to tell that Bay is part of a faction that is opposed to my faction about a particular issue. So careful, it
That
might be
theory that you were
propaganda.
putting in chat, yeah. Yeah, no, but I wouldn't after living in this universe and in the confusion and in the after all this time I still don't know what's happening kind of state. um I wouldn't immediately jump into what other people are saying and take it as, oh, that's probably what it was. I would still follow my own instinct and my own, I don't know, way of kind of landing on a conclusion for myself.
Yeah,
So it's okay, but I still would find it very interesting just to hear what other people have come
yeah.
up with. I
And
think it would
I
be interesting.
encourage for you to do exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I find unfortunate is some people finish the novel, they're utterly confused. So they go to Google and they go to the wiki, and that centralizes basically everyone that
Mm-hmm.
comes out confused
Mm-hmm.
is funneled into the same source,
I see.
and that kind of formats a specific thing of the way that it was written by whoever wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think you should do that. You should process on your own, and listen to everything that people say,
Mm-hmm.
because this is where it starts. This is where all the
Yeah.
discussions start.
And then there's
Yeah,
just another beginning, I guess.
exactly. And there's still more, actually, a little bit more, but it exists.
Yeah.
I think Last Note is nice, and it's still like a substantial next chapter. Um, okay. Um, a while ago, I was asked by chat during one of these who my waifu was. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, vaguely, I think so.
And I said, uh, I don't want to say that because
Kind of
at this
spoilery.
point it's yeah, because at this point it's not someone that that would be that would make much sense because it's
Mm-hmm.
not really a likable person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really a waifu because I don't do that.
Yeah, yeah, it's alright.
It's just
It's just
a
the meme of
character.
him.
It's just a character that I like
Mm-hmm.
a lot, and that is because the thing that I see as the overall biggest, um, the most unfortunate thing in all of the story for me
Mm.
is that even though Eva survived,
Yeah.
they could not make it work.
Mm.
Like they, throughout the whole story, there's this theme of if you have two people, you can create a world.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had it,
Yeah.
and Eva wanted to do that coming out of it,
Mm.
but they couldn't do it, and
Mm-hmm.
they grew to hate each other, and that's very sad because they're the only two remaining.
Yeah.
But even then, even though they did both grow to hate each other, and they did, Eva remained. First of all, she took care of it in survival ways, like she didn't
Yeah.
starve or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Of course. Mm-hmm.
And of course, we saw what Angie's experience was at school, and it was really bad. But I like to believe that Eva sent her to that school with good intentions because it's supposed to be a good school,
Yeah.
at least in part. Um, and it's funny in retrospect seeing the end of episode 3 where Eva is dying and she says she's gonna curse Angie with the money because she hates her so much. But if you read that now, it's like, okay, so you're gonna give her money? That doesn't sound so bad. Um, and she never revealed the
The
truth,
truth. Yeah.
which is not known what that is exactly. I personally think it's something roughly to what we see in the Tea Party of episode 7. Uh, so she didn't reveal that for her sake. So I admire her that she was able to come out of the traumatic event that it was, and I think the extent at which to which she took care of Angie was admirable, even though it didn't work out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of the scenes of the two of them, like in the fake party in episode 8 and all that, are very emotional ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So you like Eva for that?
Yes. Yes, best mom. I think that's fair to say compared to
No,
all
that's
the
fair to
others
say.
because the bar is fairly low.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rosa is not up there. And I don't think Natsuhi is doing that bad of a job, but definitely in terms of dedication to her child and just motherly instincts and so on, Eva is superior.
Yeah, and
I
Natsuhi
agree with that.
has that one interesting event of the past that also knocks her quite down in my estimation. Yeah, okay. Something that some people don't like about episode 8.
All right, what is that?
Many things, actually. but
I mean, I can imagine
but
it's the internet, so gonna be.
one of the things
Yeah.
about episode 8, and some of these things are not necessarily about episode 8, but they are presented to be about episode 8 because episode 8 ends the story, so it kind of defines what the story was about
Okay, I see.
all along, right? And one of those things is that the truth doesn't matter. A lot of people don't like that. Not that that's necessarily what it's said, but something along those lines. What do you think about that message?
I think the message primordially, at least how I took it, was that you shouldn't get hung up on the past and forget to live. That was the main message. And in connection with that was Enja's obsession of finding the truth about the past. So I guess these two things kind of meld into each other, and you kind of can come out of it with this idea truth doesn't matter, which when you generalize it that way, it comes out very striking. Like, how could truth not matter? But when you come back a little bit into the context of what Umineko is and just the complexity of everyone's struggles and personal tragedies and interactions with each other and all of the things that just coalesced, and I guess a lot of the things that were highlighted by the chapters that we just read as well. Untangling that mess, I don't know how it can land you in a good spot if you undertake it. I feel like maybe it's just a door into a rabbit hole that just leads further and further into darkness. So I think it's okay as a message that it happened already. There's nothing that can undo the tragedy of it. If you dig, in terms of like Enja's obsession with finding out, if she were to dig too deeply into it, maybe she would have been susceptible to falling into that same kind of rabbit hole into darkness, and then what will we have achieved? So maybe it was better to just let it go. So yeah, that's kind of how I see it.
We see a potential consequence of her learning the truth, which is she jumps off a building.
Yep.
It's not ideal, although something that people kind of miss or don't understand very well is that the conflict in episode 8 is not as much about knowing versus not knowing, but the two sides that are trying to pull Angie are Battler's side, which is preventing her from knowing. Then there is a side that is pushing her to know it, but there's and Eva Witch is kind of in this third camp, which is letting her know it if she wants to, because the battler side wasn't doing that. They didn't want to give her the choice. This is why they say that they're treating her as if she's a child, but she's not. But they say yes, you are. In relation to this event, you are still a child. And so it's a bit about agency, and to which extent it's fair for her in her situation to want to choose to know, even if it's the wrong choice to know. Because I think that the novel does point for it to be wrong, the wrong decision, but it doesn't necessarily say that it's wrong to let her do the wrong decision.
Yeah, I mean, I've always sensed the battler side of it just coming from a direction of trying to protect her.
Yeah.
Right.
Um. Yeah.
Mhm.
By the way, timeline wise,
Mm.
what actually happened to her?
What do you mean?
Because we see Angie starting from episode 4 and then 6 and then 8. She moves around in space time a lot.
I mean, yeah.
And there's different endings and redo a thing and come back in time and stuff like that. So how do you envision that? What do you envision her journey to actually have been? By the way, this is one of the biggest unsolved problems.
Ah,
Don't be
okay.
mad. But
Well, if it's solved, then is there really any purpose in me answering it? Because I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna get it right, I mean.
yeah, no, but what do you think?
What do I think?
Like, did she go to the island? Did she not? Did she jump and or not? You know.
I. It's magic. um, I guess I took it more like um, some of those events were possibilities for her, and maybe in its own magical way, the novel kind of allowed us to see how those would pan out. Depending on Enja's mental state and the decisions she makes. And I guess at the end, it all comes back to actually the decision that she made, how it switches things around in her life. And eventually, she ends up not doing some of the things that we saw. I don't know if she went to the island. I guess maybe she could have at some point decided to go if she wanted to, but I don't think it would have been the same event that we saw in episode 4. 4? Yeah.
Yep.
Sometimes I have to double check the numbers in my head. So, am I saying it right? Yeah. What else was there? Obviously, I don't believe she jumped, but I guess it was sort of this. It was the crystallization of likely an ongoing conflict that she had been living with, I guess, in her subconscious or in the back of her mind, thinking about these things. Obviously, the whole tragedy would also get her into, like, I guess, a darker space. I guess she contemplated ending her life. Like, it wasn't what we were shown wasn't just a whim. It was probably something that was coming from deeper within her. So I guess all of those moments are just what could be if she went down this particular path, and we have different branching offs of them. But eventually, it all gets. And I don't think it gets necessarily rolled back, but I suppose they can be, in a way, experienced in her inner mind and world if she mentally gets engrossed in that kind of thinking. And then if she eventually finds a guidance to a certain other path that makes her move away from it, then she will not actually make that decision in real life. That's where I wanted to go. But
Yep.
like like, as you can see, I struggle to put it eloquently into a sentence. I don't know how else to explain this,
No,
but that's more or less where I land on
fine,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking about this, even though we should all erase it from our minds, what did you think about the trick ending?
I was uncomfortable every second of it. I see. I wouldn't want that kind of engine.
It's a bit of a bad ending, but what do you think about that outcome for her?
What I think about it, I think that outcome takes cold hard logic and just ramps it up into infinity, and then strips everything away. And it's just that, just like performing the perfect examination. I'm just gonna blow your brains off, and then I know for sure you're dead. Yeah. So that's how kind of how it hit with me. That's what it represents when you take everything else away, like meaning that you assign to things and people, connections with them, basically the heart of life. When you just strip it out and you just leave the perfectly, let's say, theorized skeleton of cold hard logic, that's where you land.
Yeah,
That's kind of
this
how I see
idea
it.
of creating a controlled environment.
Yeah.
I think even though it's obviously what I dislike the most about it is that following from everything leading up to it, it's such a different tone and it kills everything.
Yeah. Like all of the
But
relatives are just like really warm and saying goodbye. Okay, this is your choice.
exactly,
We support you. And then she goes like bang, bang, bang. Okay.
exactly. And she throws the gift
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
How could she do it? But yeah, but I do like it. It was a bit of an afterthought, apparently.
It is thought provoking
Uh,
though. I agree with that. I
yeah,
don't
it
I
is
don't
interesting.
I don't know if I could say I like it because I disliked every second of it.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that it's there. I can say that.
Yes, I am as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And minor little conversation point, but what did you make of or did you like the games and the actual user input parts of this episode?
I was stressed out of my mind because I'm so bad at those things that, yeah, having to do it for an audience live, it wasn't the greatest time. I was just stressed out about that part, but that is one of my personal faults, I guess, and failings, that I struggle with those kinds of scenarios. But otherwise, just taking my inadequacy away from the equation, I think it was. I loved all of the scenes with the relatives. It just.
Yeah.
When I was letting go of the puzzles and just focusing on the scenes, it was really warming up my heart and filling me up with a lot of good things. Um, I guess it also served as a chance to remember the good in all of the characters again, because throughout you see them at the lowest points as
Yeah.
well. So it's kind of like a roundup of, yeah, you now know this about this person, but also take a look at this side of them too.
Yeah.
And let's see, how do you feel about them after that? And yeah.
Um, although it is in these segments that it is confirmed that Rudolph switched babies around, like, which is definitely a Rudolph moment.
So many of them. Yeah. What can I do? Rudolph.
Yeah.
What can I say? I have no words.
Um, Speaking about that idea of seeing people as whole beings that are not
Mm.
just the bad or just the good, this is another reason why some people didn't like how this ended,
Mm.
because a murder mystery story traditionally, and the emotional payoff is catching the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's figuring it all out and outsmarting and catching, and justice is served. And a lot of people were hoping for that sort of payoff as well, to have someone that is the root of this tragedy and be able to see them getting their comeuppance.
Okay,
And
wasn't that
that's
episode
not
7?
um
In some, not exactly how you're describing it, but in the spirit of it,
yes.
wasn't that episode 7?
Actually, yeah, that is a good point. But of course, that part in episode, well, the what are you talking about, the whole like figuring it out
Yeah,
and Will solving it? Yeah.
yeah.
Um, the issue, and I say issue lightly because I don't have an issue with it, but with that is that the culprit is presented as someone to care for. Like they're presented as a whole person instead of as a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they are given a platform to explain, and they give their whole backstory. And the detective in that episode, which is Will, is caring and respects the culprit, and
Yeah.
has honor and dignity in performing the ceremony of the final rites, because that's how they make it in the episode.
Yeah, he
And
has
yeah,
heart.
yeah, and for a lot of people, that's not satisfying.
I see what you mean. I don't particularly have an opinion either way because I am not part of that group of people. So, um, if there was, if Umineko was set up to be a proper mystery that follows all of the rules, and then the group of people who are into proper mysteries that follow the rules are disappointed by this not being the point of it, I, as a complete outsider to that group of people, cannot come and say, now you're wrong for being disappointed. I can just say that for me, it still worked within the form that it had, and I'm okay with it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Back to these the manga stuff that we read.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do I want to ask? Ah, um, this is a bit about the motive, but
Mm.
I don't think that it stands. I think a reader still needs to do some work to actually figure out the point of it. What do you think? Are you satisfied with what is presented as the reason for doing it, or no?
Mm. Hmm. Just from what we read, because I obviously cannot talk about anything else because I don't know
Yeah.
it. Just from what we read, I am satisfied with the way. I don't know which name should we use. Should we say Sayo?
Sure.
I'm satisfied with the way Sayo's mental spirals are depicted because you can see her go into this dark mode of like, I want everyone to die with me, I don't want to live this life, and all of the struggles, not wanting to, like, despising your own body. I can't imagine how that must be like to live in. It must feel like you're constantly in a cage and all of those things. And I also take away from it that this plotting how to hurt everyone else and how to carry it out in so many ways is also part of that. It's like the darkest point that this person gets to. And still, at least from what we read, we see preparation, but we don't see the carrying out of it.
Sure.
So there are moments when Sayo is also like, I need to be stopped.
Yes.
So there are moments of realizing that it's coming from all of this anguish that's been piled up within, and the hatred towards the bloodline and all of that stuff. But maybe it's still not the right way. But like, there is not enough, I guess, strength there to fully step away from it, like always coming back to it somehow. So it didn't really show us that it actually happened, just that it was planned in very meticulous ways. Lots of pages of it, lots of variants of it. And I can understand understand is maybe an overstatement, but I can follow more or less how a person can get into those depths of darkness from what it's shown. But I still want to choose to grasp onto some sort of glimmer of belief of them snapping back, or realizing that it's still not the right path to take. And in terms of motive, I don't know if I even need to be satisfied with the motive itself. I'm okay with just being allowed to kind of follow how this person arrives to certain points, if that makes sense. I don't know if that is equal to understanding the motive. But the biggest thing that I guess these chapters did for me was they allowed me to follow a certain type of reasoning from one point to another, just to see how this person arrives there. Because this is not really done much in the novel, I think.
Yeah.
Not to this extent and not to this depth. And so we are left with certain gaps. And I had this feeling that this novel is the novel was kind of like, with all of the information that's been given, you should be able to piece it together as a detective.
Yes.
But I'm also I'm not a detective. I have I don't know. I cannot figure out a lot of the mystery stuff of the novel on my own. I guess maybe unless I undertake a lot of effort and put a lot of time into it. But I have this struggle that I am just not able to fill it in to the point of seeing the person actually commit the crimes unless I am shown.
Right.
So I had this struggle at the end of episode 7, if you remember when we were talking about it, that, it should be clear now why it happened. I'm like, I don't know, is it really that clear? Because it's such a big gap to fill. And if I have to fill it on my own, I would rather just hold on to the hope that maybe some glimmer of sunshine happens, and it not all of it gets realized in that preposterous of a way in the end. I don't know.
I have my understanding of it. I think it's not yet time to talk about it. But I will say that one of the important parts of it is that and taking what we see in episode 7's Tea Party as largely what happened.
Okay. I see.
I agree that it's difficult for me to see this character actually carrying any of it out.
Yep.
And in what we see, that's not what happened. So motive for what if nothing was done, right? But so yeah, that's part of my understanding of it. But I do have much larger essay, right?
Okay.
But
be interesting to see that one day.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, something I want to talk about is the parallel between Sayo and Angie, because they're kind of like contrasted in that they have something that is bad, and one of them gives up in a bombastic way, and the other one manages to make it. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't easy, but actually
Yeah.
uh, powers through.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is done in quite an interesting way, which is that if you actually think about what Sayo could have done, there's actually many things she could have done. We were
In
talking
terms
about
of
it in chat a little. In
getting
terms
out of
of
this mess, or
yeah.
in terms of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So for instance, the issue that all her love interests are related to her is something. Okay, well, find other people.
Yeah, that's easy to
Or
say.
yeah, yeah, of course, right.
Yeah.
But and other things that it's easy. It's possible to, first of all, it's possible to call Battler or contact him in some way. It's possible to leave the island.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible to adopt, be because can't have kids. Oh, okay. There's many ways to circumvent the issue, but there's some setup for why this doesn't happen all throughout the novel. One of those things is, or one of the things that gives this idea is in episode 2 at the beginning of it, when she's on her date with George at
George.
the
Yeah.
aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
She talks about how for these fish the aquarium is their whole world,
Yeah.
and for her the island is the whole
Yeah.
world.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was
Uh,
about to say
yeah,
as well. Yeah. That's how I saw it too.
of course, there's no reason why she couldn't have made it so that it wasn't. Oh, that is to say, there were ways out,
Mm-hmm.
but she became someone that, because of everything that happened, she became someone that um, couldn't trust that the world wouldn't just stamp down anything that she tried.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she, because her whole life had been conditioned from the beginning to a certain end.
Yeah.
That is to be the object to have Kinzo confess his sins to, right? And because of this conditioning from the beginning,
Mm.
uh, she's like, okay, nothing I do will work out because fate. And so she bends herself to fate, and there's a whole theme about it. But, and Bea in chat is saying that sales problems are infinitely larger than Angie's. I actually disagree in the sense that Angie can't solve the fact that her entire family is dead. There's nothing she can actually do about it to fix it, which is different in some ways because there's things that can't be changed also, but there's things that can be done around it. And I think that that's important because Angie, which has something that cannot be changed, and she has to accept that, is the one that actually makes it. And I also think it's important that both of their situations are so extremely tragic, which seems a bit cartoonish if you think like entire family dead in a mysterious thing, and for Sayo, uh, the incest issues and the mutilation and all of that. There's so much, but I think the point is, even in these extremely difficult situations, it's possible to create some happiness for yourself.
Hmm. I don't disagree with what you're saying necessarily. I just I think it's fair to see a little bit of a parallel of how they behave and the choices that they make. I don't know how you could possibly ever compare them, because there's just so much on both in both situations. It's like the way you say that NJ cannot change the fact that her family is dead, well, Sayo also cannot change who her parents are, what her
Of
father
course.
did, what Natsuhi did. All of those things deeply impacted Sayo's life. And there were things done by other people. Like, no control there, right? But I do agree with this idea that you are the maker of your own destiny. And even in the most trying and most struggling of situations, you can still look for something that you can do to improve it for yourself. And I think this idea of seeing, I guess, magic and understanding magic, I guess, or infusing your life with a little bit of magic, and just perspective over the world and life, and values in life. That's where you have the most control, because you can't control what happens around you by other people or by circumstances that are not necessarily controlled by anyone, but they just happen. But you can control what your reaction to those things are, how you perceive them, the significance that you assign to them, and so on. And even in the darkest of times, there is something in there that you can still do. I fervently believe in that. It is something that I hold on to in my personal life as well. But it's very, very hard to say this about someone who is in such an extreme situation.
Of course.
Because I can also see how they can't see that, because everything else is so overwhelming and so heavy to carry. So I see both sides. And
Which is exactly the point.
Yeah. And I also had a time in my life where I felt like I was kind of stuck on some sort of island, and this was my life and this is what it was gonna be, and I didn't like it. And I was there for a few years, but eventually I kind of broke out of it. But I think back at myself who was kind of trapped in there, and I understand why she couldn't yet see the light in those circumstances.
Of course.
So yeah, I see both sides. I'm sorry.
And there's mountains of text setting it up. To be clear, I'm not like comparing who is hurting the most or anything. I just want to make it clear the point that is made in the story, which is for Sayo, she could have done things like, okay, for instance, being dependent on, or rather, not being proactive with Battler is something that could have just been different. Like, she could have been. There's a million reasons why she didn't do it. And it's totally understandable, and it makes extreme sense. But the point is, it was possible. They
were also just kids, right?
Yeah.
You don't have this...
And that's one of the things both of them are. Sayo and Enji had things happen to them extremely early on. The point is exactly to make it, and that's why it's necessary that what happens to them is so extreme, is everyone will feel these sort of things at some point, that they're in a hole that is inescapable. And the point is, it's not inescapable.
Yeah. I agree with that. There's always something to do. And even in Sayo's situation, there are people to turn to. Because I can't imagine that Genji and Kumasawa wouldn't have done anything that she would have asked him to.
Right.
Right? But instead of saying, help me better my life in some sort of way, whatever she would have wanted to ask, Sayo said, help me destroy everything. That's where she landed. And I don't judge that. I can't, because it just breaks my heart, because I see how it ended up there. Yeah. I just wish I wish to hug Sayo, actually. That's all I feel. I just,
That's
it's sad.
It's a very interesting scene where she says that to Genji, and he has some flashbacks of his role in her situation, and he decides to help her with this. It's interesting characterization for him, because that's an insane thing to do, but he felt indebted to this extent that
and guilty.
even
I think it wasn't just that; it was also guilt.
Yeah.
In a way, probably. He also had this kind of mental loop going on. He was also punishing himself internally. He also thought, I deserve this. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Because I deserve this, and because I want to serve you until the very end, people do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see him landing on that.
Yeah. Even though what he, let's say, should have done is, hey, no, that's kind of cray cray. Let's maybe do something else right now. But no, he. I find him interesting because of that, how it just wasn't in him to be like that, because he himself is that sort of person. Yeah, it's interesting. I like it, even though, of course,
maybe for Genji as well, his whole life was Kinzo and the island.
Yeah. Because basically what happens there is, she, for once, exposes her feelings to someone else. Like, for the first time, these feelings, it's not just internal ping pong about this, and she gets a positive feedback about it. Like, the person agrees, you know what, you are indeed in an inescapable hole, and at that point, yeah. And I will help you with it. Yeah, it is something. I quite like it, even though it's unfortunate.
One thing that I would want to add onto this, since we're talking about, inescapable holes and getting yourself out of it. In my experience, it is very easy to see the way out when you're not trapped inside.
Exactly.
First of all, from the outside, you can see it. And on the one hand, to me, this means that I have sympathy and a lot of warmth towards the characters that I can see are stuck there, and I can see that they can't make it out. And on the other hand, I think this is a hopeful thing as a general in life, just to take it that no matter how dark you think things are, there will be some sort of light glimmering somewhere. You just have to not give up on trying to find it. And then coming back to the characters, there's also this part of it that maybe you can't pull yourself out of it just by yourself.
Exactly.
I did say earlier that I kind of pulled myself out of the rut that I was in, which, yes, I did, but it wasn't just me. It was also because I had people around me who were there for me. And the first thing that set me on the path to try to better things was people who loved me at my worst. So you do need that, like air.
Yeah.
Because even if you are just absolutely completely, it's hard, you like, I don't know, malfunctioning, I suppose. If there is someone who sees something in you at that point, it gives you this like, oh wait, maybe maybe I can't see it, but if they can see it, then maybe there is something there, and maybe one day I can get to the point where I can also see it in myself.
Yeah.
And that's how hope is born, I think. I don't know if you can make hope on your own. that's the hardest part, and I don't know how Sayo could have, because from what I have seen, it's very, very hard. So I just wanted to say that
very
I
well in theme.
Yeah, I don't
the two people thing.
Yeah.
But you can always, no matter how deep the hole you're in is, you can always go on Twitch and go to your stream. True.
Even for me personally.
I guess you maybe you can't go on your own stream, but
Ah.
I guess you can.
Actually, me streaming was one of the ways that I tried to get myself out there.
Awesome.
I started streaming my most depressed time in my life. Yeah. So, and yeah, it did that for me as well.
Awesome.
But you tried to say that now I'm kind of being that for other people.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, okay.
Maybe.
That's sweet. Thank you.
Okay. As always, listen, I'm here. I can do 24 hours. I can do 72 hours.
Yeah, we can see more.
But we are at the time where we usually stop, so I want to ask you.
No, for tonight I was okay with going a bit later if you want to keep talking about stuff.
Okay. 7 hours it is.
No, 40 minutes.
Okay. 40 hours. Okay. Well, I have more things to say. I just don't think now. So I wonder if people in chat wanna say or ask stuff.
Maybe we skipped a few things that were already said. I think they were mostly just comments on what we were talking about that I did read as they were coming up. But as usual, since I'm talking with Bancho, I didn't address them directly. If I missed any question, just feel free to ask again. But do you mean copy paste failed, Zeku? About the heart? It shows on the screen though, so it's okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In the meantime, there's some little tidbits that I think are interesting. For instance, if you transport yourself, I'm being teased.
Yes, I can see that.
If you transport yourself back to episode 1, and if you remember who Battler meets at the island, you will remember, and I'm sure you remember, but I'll remind the people in chat just in case they don't, because of course you do. Battler meets Canon before Shannon.
Yeah, that sounds right.
She wanted to be Canon
scouting
for the reunion
to see what.
Which I think is very that's how I see it too. It's like want to see him, but not want to have the whole thing, because what if I go in as Shannon and he's just like, who is this? Then I will die. So I think that's kind of it, where she goes in as Canon.
My heart.
And yeah, something like that. But so, like a defense, like a shield, right? Because that's what Canon is. And yeah, that's how I see it too. Something like that. I always thought it was interesting. I will not comment on that yet. I don't think it's the time to comment on these things.
Okay. You mean what Bear is saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Um, what else? Something also is that these characters, Canon and Shannon, that are effectively not real people and hence furniture and blah blah blah, never outlive their um, love interest. Did you notice that?
Oh, no, I hadn't thought about it that way. Mm, interesting.
Like there is no point to their existence without the corresponding.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And heartbreaking.
Yeah.
My God. Oh, yeah.
What else? Obviously, they're usually reserved for last, and Maria is given special treatment
Yeah.
regarding her death, which is well, I guess better than alternative slightly.
Mm.
Um,
You said you could go on for like 40 hours. How are we still
oh no,
sitting here?
are you calling me out?
No, no, you can take your time.
No, I mean it's there's so many things, but a lot of those things are bordering on headcanon, or at least like my understanding of. And I don't want to go too much into that sort of stuff, you know.
Okay, okay. See.
At this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um
What would be the
so I'm
point
like
where we
trying
get into
to
that?
just very soon. But we're coming out of just, you know.
Yeah.
It was yesterday that you finished the novel. It
Mm-hmm.
was today that you read the yeah. Um I guess there was something that was mentioned. This is a total like side thing, but it was mentioned before in chat about the nature of the magical beings,
Mm-hmm.
like to which extent are they real or whatever. I will say this without commenting too much on Ikoko. I will say that to me, it's totally reasonable that or believable that she is actually just a witch, just like a straight up witch. Doesn't age
Okay.
and is weird and mysterious. Like that's fine for
Mm.
me. Um,
I mean, she's also
like
supposed to be Japanese, so
true,
they
they don't
age like
age.
they don't age, some of
Yes.
them. So it can work
Uh,
that way too.
the only counter to that is that the others are as well, and they clearly age around her. Like she was explicitly said to look the same as she did at least 20 years before. It's not exactly it's not very explicit how much
Yeah, I
later
remember.
the reunion happens. Yeah. Um. Okay. What about that reunion? Because I guess we didn't talk too much about it,
Mm.
but um, that is kind
Yeah.
of the final boss of the Don't Cry challenge. Okay, let's see. Do
Yeah.
you know why? No, I will not.
We still don't know why Acheron can say things in red. At least I don't think I know. So anyway.
What does it even? Okay, I don't want to talk about.
No, 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 we move on. We
Okay.
move on.
What was I saying? I was saying something
About the
so clever.
reunion. The
It
try
was
not
so
to cry
intelligent and
challenge
clever.
of the
It
reunion.
was so awesome. What was
Yeah.
I saying? Oh yes, yeah. That's the final boss of the try not to cry because it's a rough one. Um, do you like that? Did you like it, and do you like that Battler is alive? Because it could be seen as a bit of a betrayal of the message, because the point for Angie was to accept and move on,
Mm-hmm.
despite. But this kind of is like, oh no, it's actually there's actually something. But on the other hand, it's not really happy. So how do you feel about it?
I don't see it as a betrayal. I think the main idea with Enja was don't live a stagnant life holding yourself down in hope that maybe something is out there. I guess that's kind of like, because like the hope, or like the desire that not all of her family was dead, was in a way kind of holding her back, because she kept going back to the past. And if we take Battler's situation into account, there is nothing that she could have done to improve it. She needed to live until the moment this was meant to happen for them. And in order to live, she needed to overcome that. So I don't think it betrays the message at all.
Yeah.
And also, I find it completely understandable what was explained in the scene as to why Battler kind of held back. Indeed, it backfired quite severely, because then they lost track of her for the longest of times. So when he regretted it, to undo that, kind of, they paid with a lot of time for that. But at least from what was portrayed in the scene, I got a good sense of what the struggle was for Battler. And I can see why. I can see why it was too much. And he also needed to come up to a certain point in his journey where he was able to take the step towards NJ. It is sad from the outside perspective, or for us, as audience, because we would want them. Oh my god, Battler and NJ, it's been the whole thing, like their relationship. They're so we want them together now. Why did they have to wait so many decades? But I think that was kind of like a wake up call that things aren't that straightforward or as neat or as simple in life, and people have circumstances, and sometimes we have to battle them on our own before we can move on to a certain point. And I'm happy that Battler is alive, even though it is not the best life. At least he's not dead. I am happy that they managed to meet and to have that conversation and to have that wonderful ending, even though it took decades. Because the alternative would have been for Battler to live and never remember, for Enja to live and never know.
Yeah.
I think that would have been much worse. So things fell into place in a way that worked out in the end. Even though we might feel like it was too late, there was some lost time there, it is a fact of life. Things will not happen most efficiently. They will just happen how they happen.
Yeah, I agree with you entirely. Yeah. I will say, though, that the science of his condition is very dubious, but it's okay. It's fiction. It's fine.
We are in a novel where, I got to remind you, babies survived falling off cliffs.
Okay.
And babies are switched at the maternity. So we are definitely in telenovela territory, and I'm okay with an invented certain aspects of his conditions. And I actually want to interject here. This took me, the whole thing was giving me constantly flashbacks to Tomoyo After. I don't know if you're aware of it. It's a spin-off of Clannad.
Yeah.
Bea knows what it is, because she told me to read it and we read it together. And I had just like that thing the whole time. It's hard for me to explain, but there's something very similar in someone with the condition, with the memory and being cared for. And it was just, So I also think maybe because I went through the experience of that novel, which kind of ran me through this kind of scenario, I'm okay to suspend my disbelief, but also easy. It was easier for me to kind of get on board and kind of try to empathize with Battler's stance in the situation.
Yeah. You mentioned the wake up call aspect of it because it's not like all roses.
Mm-hmm.
And I do find it interesting that this idea that she was waiting for someone to come back all this time, really, if for that to be true, there would have to be this sort of weird circumstances, because why
Yes,
are they
exactly. Because
waiting to
otherwise,
come
yeah,
back, right?
exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, so it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to mention something that Arismuth is talking about regarding the names for the central character, because we have Shannon and Canon, which are fictional names. Then Sayo is
I
a
know.
name that is given to her as an orphan, and Yasu is obviously disliked.
I know. I know. That's why it's hard for me to talk. And I also have this issue that if I say Sayo, then I immediately switch to a she pronoun, which I don't know, is it appropriate? And like if I say Yasu,
Yeah.
it's easiest for me to say they. I don't know. It's because I guess I've been conditioned from earlier assumptions in the novel to see Shannon Sayo as a feminine presence. So yeah, it's
that's
very
a whole
hard.
rabbit hole itself.
It's a, I mean, no disrespect. I love them. I love this person. I want to give them the biggest of hugs. Yeah.
And then there's also Leon, which is
but when you say Leon, I think of that precise timeline.
Obviously.
Leon, Will's Leon,
and,
so it's hard
and the meaning of that name is, even though it's probably the most correct because it's the most original, is also it's one that she never identified with.
Yeah,
and it's given by Kinzo, and there's things that are not to be like there. So yeah, it's tough, but that's part of the point. This identity issue is very central to her character.
Yeah, that's where the whole universe is born.
The pronoun question is a whole thing, but by what we see with Leon, it's like it doesn't matter. Make your own. If you need, which you don't need. I know you don't need, but if anyone needs to have it in their head exactly the reality of what it is and that stuff, make your own ideas of it. I do think that the story leans a certain way, but at the end it's something that isn't confirmed either way or the other, and it's said explicitly that it does not matter because it doesn't.
Yeah. Yep.
It reminds me of, we had talked about it before with the name thing where Kinzo named his child Beatrice as well. Yeah, and we talked about how thematically, in the sense of the narrative, it's like symbolic of him conditioning his daughter to be a replacement.
Yeah.
So there's importance to names that are given. Yeah.
No. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for your comment. That's so
I
sweet.
have to say, I've said it before, but I'll say it here too. I really liked your playthrough or read through. What you want to
Since I have you on the line, can I ask why?
Yes.
Because I don't see it.
I will say, first of all, me saying this matters because I've watched a million of them, okay? Countless ones.
Okay.
So this one standing out is meaningful. Why? because the core of this isn't because maybe you're thinking and you had these thoughts before you started reading, as you've told us, that maybe it's not for you, you're not exactly.
I'm not target audience for sure. I'm miles away.
Yeah, like I disagree with that is the
Hmm.
thing, but
Okay.
but you would think I'm not the one that's going to be solving anything, and I think that's totally fine. uh I think you're definitely the target audience because, and I knew this when in episode 2 we were doing Rosa apologetics. I knew you were the one because that's exactly the point, is being able to actually see the characters and engage very earnestly, emotionally with the characters and the situations, because at the end of the day it's all that this is, it's all that matters at the end. Is really about how we see people, right? It's about love and how important it is to love and what love is. And I thought that you would get it, and you do. You have no issue with any of the themes. Some people do have issue with
Oh,
with the themes. Some people that were let's say better at figuring the mysteries out, then some of them end up not liking it because it ended up not really mattering, right? But you liked it, and because
yeah.
you liked it, basically it's like this: because you liked it and you weren't, and there was never a point where you didn't like it. I think you get it.
Mm.
I think you genuinely get it, and yeah, that's why I like it. And um, I liked that we would take time to talk about the stuff that was happening. Sometimes
Hmm.
to
I love those
with
conversations.
with substance. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, I love that.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you very much. It just yeah, the whole experience has been surreal in many ways. Because I've had people like you and others come in and be like, "Oh, we like what you're doing here," and then you
Yeah,
keep showing up, and I'm here like, "Okay, but what am I doing here?" Because I don't really see it, and because I know there is this like, I totally understand the importance of the mystery part and why it's so precious to some people. I'm just not part of that audience, so I do feel a disconnect there and like a gap
yeah,
that I cannot bridge um, in the same way, because like for them, this, if you're into this is kind of like something you've been trained into. I
yeah,
just stumbled into it. Um, so a big worry that I had throughout the whole playthrough was that I wasn't doing this part justice, but also me forcing myself into engaging with it too much was making me miserable as well.
yeah,
So I decided to not really do that so much, but just try to, you know, be as aware as I can be, because I mean I'll be the first person to say it. My memory is really bad. Over the course of a year, I'll
oh
forget
yeah,
details and I
it's
will not connect
impossible.
them properly, or maybe in the moment I have like a hunch of something that is not true, but then that hunch ends up coloring a few other things differently than they should have been, and stuff like that. So I don't have the skill set for this. And at the same time, I wanted to be respectful towards it because I can see just what a monumental endeavor it must have been for the author to just put together this
Oh yeah,
insane puzzle for the people who really, really like testing out their minds and fighting each other online, I guess, over the results and stuff like that. I can only imagine that for them is something that just like, I don't know, I guess coursing through their veins and kind of makes them feel alive when they have these kinds of moments. And I have a lot of respect for that. And I never really wanted to step into the direction of talking down on them or not giving this its due, I guess, importance. But yeah, I had to also lean into what was more my thing, which is what you just described, which is what I've been doing since I'm reading visual novels. That's why I'm reading visual novels, because I feel very deeply connected to the stories and to the characters, and I just want to understand them. So yeah.
If it was the case, or rather, I can't imagine a work so long that explores so many different aspects of life to only be meant to be read the one way. I agree with that. That's an insane concept. So it makes all the sense to me that people engage with different parts, because there's so many parts and so many themes. Probably a bit too many themes, but I don't want to go there right now. But I will say this: I would prefer, and maybe chat doesn't agree or you don't agree, but I would prefer if at the times where you read something and we can see that you're that you're considering things, I would like to know what you're considering.
Yeah. I cannot help myself back from doing that, because most of the time I just thought it was ridiculous. Sometimes I did say it out loud.
I do not care. It's definitely not the case that if you say the wrong thing, anything bad is gonna happen.
Yeah, well, I would just make a fool of myself on live stream. Yeah, I don't know.
Listen, I get it. I'm not streaming.
Mm.
I don't know how you do this. That's insane.
Mm. In what sense? How I do it? I sit down and I turn on the button, and I'm always late.
True. I would also prefer if you're less late.
I am so sorry.
It's my 2 pieces of feedback.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
No, it's totally fine. Okay.
I saw it today at 45 minutes. You were there. Like,
I was there.
I was just about to hit the button. Oh no. Badger is holding me accountable.
Okay. Next steps are you have our confession and you have last note, right? And there's other side things to read as well before, I think, right?
Yeah, Bear sent me a list.
Right.
I think the first 3 things that you sent me are those Tsubasa stories, Bear.
Right.
So I think we could do that. And then move to whatever those other things that you're mentioning are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually, we will
the fighting game. Yeah.
On stream.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh
live
my god.
For everyone to see, play the amazing fighting game that is way too good for what it is. For a fighting game based off of this.
It will be an absolute carnage. You will just dominate.
Yes, listen, I want to ask you, we don't need to talk about this now and here because maybe it's not the time, but I do want to ask you to which extent you want to engage with the fighting game, because you can go so deep and I don't know if you have time to actually invest in getting good at this game. So it doesn't need to be anything like that, but I would like to know what you are expecting, like how much we will play this game.
I didn't really crystallize a thought in this direction. We can do whatever you want. I have 2 streams a week. We can schedule it however you want. We just
What I
do a
want is
couple and see
every
how it
single
goes.
stream.
You want every single stream.
Every single stream. Okay, listen, yeah, totally.
We can just do
I
one
have
and see how it
something.
goes. And after that, we can decide something else. It's okay.
Yeah. But I did want to ask you. You've never played one before, right?
Very vaguely in my childhood, some console game somewhere. Not really. It's better to say that I'm starting from zero. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the sort of game with a very difficult. It's very difficult to get into them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to you. If you want to play it, and by the way, we don't need to play it, but I do want to, and I think it would be nice, just because it's Umineko,
No, I agree.
and
Yeah.
okay, awesome, and there's
Yeah.
cool things to show off that the moves that they do are quite funny.
Okay.
But I would like to know if you if it makes sense to you to go into it blind, or if it's worth to have a little time, like getting a feel for how the game works, so it's more of an actual game.
Yeah, maybe the second one.
Okay, I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think I will do it. For now, we can uh, shelve this topic. Can't wait for your reaction on one of the Last Notes characters. Yes, true.
More
By the way, Last Note
characters. Okay.
is nice.
Okay.
Did you think anything
No,
different?
it's not the end. Okay. Got it.
And there's also a new one in our confession.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Do you have any questions for me?
For you. You've already told us your favorite character in the episodes. I don't know. Is there any particular scene that evoked something? I don't know, something that hits close to home for you, something special, some special meaning for you, or maybe
Mm.
something that made you ponder things in your life and had some sort of impact at the time that you experienced the novel?
Um. Damn. Uh. Well, perhaps unfortunately, having read through it so many times now, every scene is like amazing. Like, oh yes. Uh, it, it, you get to a point where you see a line, a stray line in the novel, and you think, oh yes, the entirety of Umineko is in this line, but it's like every line is like that, and it's a bit crazy.
I see.
But um, I don't think that easy or simple answer. Not really in those terms, but I am every time I'm rereading it. I For the early episodes, I am transported right back to where I was at that time with this entire novel in front of me, and
That's nice.
and going to university and waiting for the bus, thinking about how that murder was done.
I can imagine that. Yeah.
The second toilet, the first episode, and the chain locked room occupying my mind. Oh, but I will say this. I am very inspired by this novel. That's the biggest impact that it has done to me, and not just this, but Higurashi as well, and everything that this man writes um, is something else. Is really something that is rare. A lot of the things that are in his works are rare and interesting and refreshing, and they really inspire me because I resonate a lot with his style of mind. So it inspires me to do things like this. I would like to write something as well, in great part due to this. So
Please
yeah,
do.
I'm
I
engaging
want
with
to read.
Umineko more like this. You will. I will make you. If I do, you will
Oh,
on
oh my god,
stream,
yes. I'll stream, sure.
and I will not pay you for it.
No, you don't have to.
But yeah, they are. He's just. I do have to say I don't want to be too negative at this point, but the I find him brilliant, but the execution is a bit rough. I don't know if you felt that, but it's like okay, there's a masterpiece here in theory, but
It could be polished
um,
more.
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's a thing that he does, the recontextualizing everything. I really admire, because he can take me through all the emotional spots that he wants, and I will follow and do the exact follow the exact road that he wants me to. So, for instance, while we were talking about how you engage with it, you weren't super into the solving the mystery stuff,
Sorry.
and that's awesome and fine. I was,
Mm-hmm.
and because I was, it hit that much harder when then he tells me, but you know what? It didn't even matter. And I'm like, oh my god, it didn't, did it?
I see.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's important to me that this, because he lies to me all the time. He's like, this novel is about this, and I'm like, oh yeah, that is awesome. And I go and I follow, and then he's like, actually no, it's about this. And I'm like, oh my god, it is. You're so right. You're amazing. I'm the biggest fanboy.
Oh, I can sense that. That's very cute. Yeah.
Um, in Higurashi as well, the recontextualizing is very interesting. The repeating this form of story of repeating the same events in different ways is very interesting and can uh, serve to drive home very interesting points. Like if you ever read Higurashi, one of the interesting things is that the the relationships that are formed between people are very dependent on the context in which the people meet, and Higurashi does that very well. And I found that so interesting that someone who we took as an ally in one of the episodes, because we meet him in a different context in another episode, now it's like an antagonist,
Mm.
but it's still the same character.
Mm.
I found that so
I see.
interesting. It's a bit different in Umineko, where of course there's the heel turn of of Burn, which is an ally at first, and then the main antagonist. But it's different because yeah, but it's the same kind of thing. And anyway, yes, I'm rambling a bit about how
Yeah, it's
much
right.
I like the way that these are written, and I think Higurashi is a bit underrated.
Oh.
I will say.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, Higurashi exists in kind of a weird place in the anime world, because a lot of people that know about it because of the anime, and they like it because of the gore.
Mm-hmm.
And I
I
think,
have
okay,
definitely seen that. Yeah.
but there's so much more. That like the gore is such a side thing. So, but it's how it is. Don't spoil those interesting Higurashi things. Yes, you are right. I am sorry, but it's fine.
I don't consider it a spoiler. I will. I don't think I will. If I ever read it, I will not read it with this in mind. Don't worry.
Yes.
It's fine.
In a couple of years, we can ask you to read Higurashi. Yeah, sure.
We'll see what the
Uh,
future brings our way.
Higurashi and Umineko both were so equally good with such great messages. I read them in the same year. It was great. Yeah. Absolutely. I also like the just objective positivity of these. The fact that there isn't like a bad guy to hate, or the ones that are also have their endearing moments.
Mm-hmm.
It can feel to some people it did a bit of a cop out, like evil
Mm.
isn't real or something, but not to
Mm.
me. And I like this. I find it just a good positive message of hey, love is good, which sounds like a bit generic, but the way that it is done, I think is really good. And yeah, for sure, it
Uh,
is.
you know when I think yeah, was it end? It was end of last episode 7 that you asked me about Kinzo, or not asked me, but you made the statement. Um, I forget your exact words, but it was something along the lines of no matter what someone does, they never stop being human.
Yes.
And I paused for a second before I agreed with it. And the reason why I paused was I wanted to check myself for a second there. Because it is true that there are people in the world who do atrocious things to
Yeah.
others, right? And to make this blanket statement about everyone, no matter what they do, still being human, it was quite a big thing. And I wanted to kind
Mm-hmm.
of see where I kind of land if I think of that scenario. And where
Yep.
I kind of landed actually was the following. Um, um, we have darkness within us, all of us. We all could potentially go smack someone behind the head or even worse. But we don't. We choose to wake up every day and not do that. I think that's how do I put it? There is something to be appreciated about that, because being or trying to be a decent human in the world is not always the easiest thing. So
Yeah.
in a way, um, we are all flawed, and even if there are these like exception, like people who do really really terrible things, we kind of have this tendency to call them monsters and distance ourselves from
Exactly.
them.
Like they're a different breed.
Yes, but if we do that, we kind of forget that we are actually the same as them, and
Right.
we could end up in a similar spot. So it is a humbling thought to still allow them to be human and be, I guess, part of the human race with you, to kind of give you that reminder that, yeah, I will wake up tomorrow and I will still not be like them, even if I am still flawed as a human. Something along those lines.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And also, just generally speaking, for myself now, how I relate to the world and how I see things, um, I am not comfortable putting myself in this kind of judge position to decide such big things about someone. To decide, I will not consider this person a human. It's
Right.
too much for me to do. So I don't want to do that, even when we're taking into account the most extreme of cases. So yeah,
Which are the ones to take into account when I make a sweeping statement like
yeah,
that. I am thinking of the worst thing I can
yeah,
possibly imagine,
yeah.
so I can
So
still say still human.
yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how I feel, and I think Umineko leaned into this quite a lot.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
even the witches are human.
Yeah.
Even the goats are human.
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. True. Fact. Um, People can be horrible human beings, but they're still humans, and that shouldn't be forgotten. Is Sakutaro human?
Aw. He is a very human side of Maria.
True.
Yes.
He is a vegetarian though, and
No.
that's kind of weird. Umineko. Also, at the end, the roller coaster of emotions of sad and then funny is like, okay,
Yeah,
you're
he
killing me.
likes doing that. He really enjoys
He does.
it.
He loves this.
Mm-hmm.
He has done you know because you talked about Tomoyo after, but that's the kind of novel he based his thing on. According to him, he said that key novels are happy and then sad.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, what if mine are happy but then it's like horror? It's like, okay, thanks.
Oh god.
But then they're happy again.
Yeah.
Somehow he does it.
And somewhere in between they're also shonen. Like,
Oh my god, I
yeah.
love that. I love it so much.
It's really cool.
When this novel is hype, it's the hypest thing I've
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Mm.
Time. Are we done?
I think we're kind of there, unless you have something on your mind. So spill it out.
I don't think in particular, no.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I would like to say that it was awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you for platforming. Why did you do that?
Because you DM'd me and you asked.
I did.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, could you do this?" And you're like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
You didn't know what I was gonna say.
No.
I could have destroyed your whole Twitch career.
Yeah, but you see, one thing that reading these novels gives me is a sense for people. I sensed you from how our interactions in chat were going that, oh, this would be a good idea. Let's see what comes out of it.
Okay.
And
I can still do it.
Yeah, and I just had this sense, not just in that moment, but it was confirmed after that in our interactions, be it in messages or in these conversations in stream. Maybe I'm tripping. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I sense that you were coming at it with a lot of care towards me because I had the feeling that you understood my plight of feeling inadequate.
Yes.
And with your way of questioning and the things that you try to bring out, you were trying to make or help me feel more comfortable and to find my spot in this crazy thing.
No, I was seeing, people ask in chat, "Hey, what did you think of that?" Or did you notice anything that in your face? I was like, "No, I don't think anything."
Yeah.
Like, oh my god.
I wanted to crawl under a rock every single time that I was asked something, and I was like, I have empty head right now. I don't know.
Bancho, ask Nezu what game influenced her choice of accessories today, and then play that game no matter what it is. I don't think I will do that, actually, because I have some suspicions about what that might be. But I'll choose not to. Yeah, I'll choose not to ruin your stream. Yes. Okay.
No, I felt a really good vibe from coming from you. So I was like, when you asked, I said, yeah, why not?
It is a good vibe.
It is very good.
I agree. Yeah. I think in the server we need to play more games. What do you think? Like as
you mean amongst
ourselves? People. Yes.
Yeah, sure. How do we organize that?
I have no idea. It's your community. It's your issue.
Oh, it's my issue.
Yeah.
I don't really have much time to play other things myself. So I don't know how to organize it for you to play things among each other. Like,
we can figure it out if we get a feeling for what. I just think it would be nice,
do you have anything
Games
in
are
mind?
cool. Yes, we can talk about it.
Yeah. Well then, yeah, let's chat in the server and see what we can do.
Awesome. Okay. All right. I think that is it for now then.
That's great. Thank you for everything. It has been an
Yeah.
absolute delight to have these conversations with you after episodes.
Yeah.
I'm glad we made it a
awesome.
transition. Yeah. And I guess in some way I could say that you also played a role in saving my heart throughout this journey and keeping me focused on what was important. So thank you.
Cool. Good to hear.
Yeah. All right. Night for now, and we see each other
Alright.
around. Yeah.
Good night. Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Here we are, chat. Day 1 of knowing the end of Umineko. It's been 24 hours. This has been really nice. Thank you so much for not just the night, but for the whole past year. It's been incredible. I've said it already multiple times along the way. Now I don't know how to say it in different words, but I am just incredibly grateful. I have had an absolute blast. Overall, this has been one of the most fun and transforming experiences that I've had on stream. So thank you for not just budging me into this direction, but also for being here, regardless of when you came along for the journey, whether it was from the beginning or somewhere in the middle, or even maybe somewhere towards the end. I love and appreciate you all. So yeah, next time we will be doing Tsubasa stories, and that means we will be doing them in the Discord stream as per usual. Let me, since I did it in the past, let me also do it now, share an invite link in case there's someone there who wants to join for it. We will be doing it during the Tuesday stream schedule, but on Discord, not on Twitch. That's the only difference. There we are. Invite. Right. So this will be happening on Tuesday, and after that, I guess we will see how I can arrange the other things. Yeah, I think what we have is enough for one stream, given your estimations, Bea. So we will do that, and then for the rest, we will take it from there. Yeah. Let me see what else.
Your recognition honors me.
Oh, Pancho! Thank you so much for the sub. It's so sweet. I like Moschana. Good idea, but who will organize it? I mean, I would. I don't know what you people play. So let's chat first. I am open to it. Feel free to spam the games channel with whatever suggestions you have, and I will make it happen. Just tell me, because I don't know. Yeah. How will the next games possibly live up to this? Well, I will not be going at it from the perspective of something living up to it. I will just take them for what they are. And I'm sure they will be amazing and beautiful experiences in themselves. Even though they will not be Umineko, they will just be what they are, and we will find things to love there as well. Or to see with love, now that we've had this practice for this year-long journey. I love the streams going through Umineko again, made me appreciate some aspects of the story more than before. Yeah, I hear that from all of you on a regular basis. I'm curious what kind of experiences I will have once I open the Pandora box of the internet and I actually allow myself to look at Umineko content, because I actually have not been looking at Umineko content all this time. Never googled anything related to Umineko. Sometimes had to make it in such a way that I don't see the recommended list on YouTube from my own VODs when I check something in the VODs because I was scared of what would be there. It's like nothing. So now it's gonna be like a weird experience of like going out into the world after being shut in for a year. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Oh, that's you. Okay, yeah, welcome to the Discord. Playing Umineko 2 Return of the Road on Twitch. God. Now you can listen to music on YouTube. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you can send all the stuff. I'll do my best to get to them. Yeah. Alrighty. Thank you so much for being around and for pushing through the stream, which has gone way past the usual time box. It's just really hard to say goodbye. It is, I guess, it is an end of an era. Not fully the end, right? We don't have to pull the band-aid just now. We still have a little bit of Umineko related things to go through, so that will make the letting go process happen. But yeah, it will be, I'll need some time to adapt to the idea that I'm no longer streaming this. Yeah, but until then, not sorry about it. No, I loved it. I'm perfectly fine. I can go into comments on the Umineko music. I think I will spare myself the the stress. I gave some forbidden knowledge in the Umi channel. Okay, I will check it out. Okay, right. So, plan is next Tuesday, Discord stream for Tsubasa. We do those stories, and then we see where we go from there. Until then, have a nice end to your week. Relax and do all the good stuff. And I will see you on Tuesday. And I finally get a longer break from streaming. Wow, this week has been a lot. But I loved every second of it, and I regret nothing. And I would do it all again the exact way that we've already done it. So I'm happy. I hope you're happy. Love you all. What does Honkai Star Rail first? Yeah, but I loved the story was so good. I'm still blown away by what happened Sunday evening. So yeah, thank you all. Love you. See you Tuesday.